deeper dive here. We got a three-man weave once again after so much praise for the two-man show with Alex and Adam yesterday. I'm here to ruin it for all of you guys, including the guys I'm hosting the show with. I'm Chris Spags, joined by the top DFS player in the world, the man who this YouTube channel and the site Osmo.com are named for, Alex Baker, better known as Osmo. How are you doing, Alex?
So it's a little bittersweet, man. The regular season finale of the deeper dive, but I guess every ending is a beginning of something else, or so I've heard from a wise person. So MLB playoffs after this, but I'm not turning page yet. I'm hoping to win some money tonight with you guys. So looking forward to discussing this later.
End of season baseball, a thrill a minute. Of course, we will take you through all the finer points as we go game by game here. But of course, another man, one of the other smart genius men who contributed to, again, really worthwhile show yesterday, which had some interesting tournament thoughts. If you ever want to go check it out, if you have some downtime, Mr. Adam Scherer, better known as Shit My Money. How are you doing, Adam?
Doing good. Looking forward to a full 14 gamer after yesterday's little 5-game slate. Pretty decent pitching options throughout. So excited for the last regular season weekday slate.
Also, it looks like on YouTube we have not started yet somehow, or are we on a different? No, we might not just be working on YouTube right now, Josh, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I mean, we should be live. We should be live on Periscope. Everything is good on my end. YouTube has been, since they're probably listening to what I'm about to say, YouTube is fantastic lately. I assume that they can't read sarcasm. But there's very little that I can do.
Okay.
We are live on Periscope.
All right, so if this is just for you, Periscope, because YouTube doesn't want these hot takes we're going to give out over the course of this 14-game slate, but let's keep it going and get it moving because we got to make good time here. First game on the slate, Cincinnati getting 4.6 implied runs, heading into a game in Pittsburgh who's getting 3.9 implied runs. Steven Brault going against Anthony DeSclafani. Two pitchers here who are indeed pitchers, I guess is probably the best you could say for them, though DeSclafani's price is up, and I guess he's quietly had a decent year. Adam, I'll turn it to you first here. How are you feeling about Brault and DeSclafani? Are you going to have any of the pitching?
Yeah, kind of an interesting game here with the pitchers. I don't love either one, but Steven Brault on Draftkings specifically is $4,300. That's the only site that I'm really interested in him. And even there, it's kind of lukewarm interest because the Reds do have an entirely right-handed lineup. And Brault's only struck out 16.3% of righties this year compared to about 26.5% of lefties. He's given up some power to righties. And you do have some power in this lineup with Phil Irvin, Eugenio Suarez, Aristides Aquino, and then Peraza and Iglesias both have sub 10% strikeout percentages. So I don't think it's the best spot for him, but he is 4,300 on DraftKings. So, and there's a lot of good hitting on this slate. He's going to be lower owned than Nate Eovaldi at that same price point. So some interest there. On the other side for DeSclafani, I wasn't interested in him at all earlier, but some interest now that the Pirates have released a lineup that has 6 right-handed bats plus a pitcher. DeSclafani has always been much, much better against right-handed hitters than lefties. This year hasn't been an exception. The strikeout percentage higher against righties as we would expect. So getting the right-handed heavy lineup makes him a bit more appealing. But that being said, it's still a Pirates team that just doesn't have a lot of strikeouts in their lineup.
DeSclafani, just a 1 whip and a 25% K rate versus righties over the last 2 seasons. So he is certainly getting a benefit there. Alex, how about you? Do you have any interest in the bargain basement Steven Brault or the higher price, but maybe not that bad DeSclafani?
Yeah, man, I'm all about the clearance sale Steven Brault tonight. I think that he's going to be flying off the hook for me. But, I mean, he's a guy who's a little bit below average with strikeouts, quite a bit below average with his overall performance this year. But the matchup is decent for Ks, and I think he should be priced about 1-2K more than he is on DraftKings, where that's really the only site he's in consideration. So we'll have some of them there just because it allows me to pay up to be contrarian with the rest of my lineup.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how about the hitters here? Adam mentioned that he might have some interest in going against Brault as well, or at least on paper, there could be some value going against him. How are you feeling about the Cincinnati stack going against Brault?
Yeah, man, there's insane values on Cincinnati. It's actually quite striking because usually when you have a guy dirt cheap at pitcher, the guys where batters are expensive, but that's not the case tonight. These Reds batters are very cheap. The leadoff hitter, Peraza, is basically the minimum on every site. You got Philip Ervin batting second, also extremely cheap across the industry. These are guys who, Peraza's not really a power hitter, but he can get some bags. Philip Ervin is about average power. Can get some steals as well. So these guys are decent GPP plays. And the only thing that might hold me back is that with all the good value on the team, people might have a little bit more reds than I like.
Oh, also, we just got an ownership update, and it looks like Steven Brault has taken a significant jump. But also, we do currently have Cincinnati as being a bit overowned. So, Alex, how do you feel about those two twains coming together? Because if Brault is going to be the chalkiest pitcher on the slate, as our most recent ownership projections would give out, how are you feeling about that, given that they're also not projecting well in the top stacks tool?
Well, if the Cincinnati bats were low owned, I'd be all over the ownership because really the leverage is you're trying to get ground against the field. But in this case, the Cincinnati bats are high owned and Brault is high owned. So I don't see a lot of leverage to be gained. And these stacks that are very popular simply for being cheap and not because they're good players are ones that I try to avoid in favor of some better players that are less popular.
Adam, how are you feeling here knowing this? Because this ownership update does kind of change things, especially with how you approach things in terms of leverage. Would you be more interested in a chalky Brault or a high-owned, possibly over-owned Cincinnati side?
I mean, if Brault is actually going to be projected higher than Eovaldi, I would just roster a ton of Eovaldi instead of Brault. But I think one guy that stands out looking at the ownership is Aquino on Cincinnati. We have a lot of ownership being projected to go to Irvin, Peraza, and Suarez, but then it kind of drops off of a cliff. And Aquino has a ton of power. He's pretty expensive. He's an outfielder, so there's a lot of options. That should keep his ownership down, but he does have a ton of power. He's facing a pitcher that doesn't strike out a lot of right-handed hitters, so I think he's a good tournament one-off.
Yeah, he's had a 298 ISO versus left-hand pitching this year, which, a limited sample size, only 51 pitchers he's faced, but still, or 51 at-bats he's had, but still a spot where he has had crazy power going against lefties. Let's keep it going here. And actually, before we do, I've got to do this shout out in the beginning because I'm so pressed for time, but we got to make sure to shout out Yahoo. Of course, Yahoo Daily Fantasy, the presenting sponsor here of the Deeper Dive. Also the home of the $1 Million Baller this weekend, one of the bigger no management fee tournaments you'll find out there. Alex, I'm sure you're going to be a big part of Yahoo this week, hand-building, lovingly handcrafting all of your lineups in that tournament. What are some of the reasons out there that people might want to play on Yahoo?
Yeah, as far as tournaments, they have great offerings. And the Baller this week being their premier tournament, I think 50K to first, 400K prize pool should be a good one. I think that whenever you have a site with one large tournament and then the other tournaments are small, what you'll end up having is a large proportion of recreational players compared to normal. So I'm expecting, I'm forecasting this Yahoo tournament to be easy pickings for us experienced players. And I also like Yahoo for cash because my favorite way to play cash is head-to-heads. And on Draftkings and Fanduel, whenever I'm coaching people with cash, they're always kind of frustrated because they're playing guys that are tough, like pros that are taking their lineups. On Yahoo, they really mitigate that factor by allowing you to block as many people as you want, so that the pros won't just all block in and take your games if you don't have a screen name they recognize. And that will allow you to get started in cash a lot faster on Yahoo than on Draftkings or Fanduel.
Let's go check it out. Go check out the Spotlight Stacks and Hitters article on the homepage of Osmo.com. Emacs article. We'll have a link right in there if you want to go to Yahoo and get your free $30 in YSRPs, Yahoo Sports Rewards points, which are just like dollars on there. Of course, you can also just go to Yahoo yourself and use the promo code OSMO, AWESEMO, for your $30 in YSRPs along with your deposit there. And do like Alex said, take advantage of all the idiots on there. I think that was the gist of your promos. Like, all the dumbasses are doing their work league. They're probably playing a little bit because they think they could win big. So just take their money. That sounds like a good time.
I'm not above that.
Hey, nor should you be. Nor should any of us. Let's keep it going. We got Cleveland getting 4.3 implied runs heading into Washington. A battle between Austin Voth and Zach Plesac. Plesac's been pretty decent on the year. Not a good strikeout guy, but he's mitigated damage well with a 1.2 whip. Austin Voth, not well priced at this point, not pitching deep into games, but he's avoided hard contact well. Just a 5% barrel ball rate for him so far this year and a 1.2 whip. Low total here for Cleveland after they've had kind of a good run. Adam, how are you feeling about the pitching here? Any interest in either of these guys?
Not interested in either pitcher. I think just really difficult matchups for both of them in terms of strikeouts. Neither one's a great strikeout pitcher on their own, and then Cleveland doesn't have a lot of strikeouts in their lineup. Neither do the Nats. So neither pitcher is particularly appealing as far as salary goes.
Alex, would you agree there? You don't have them projected pretty well, and the salaries seem like a bit high relative to their projection for you.
Yeah, I agree with Adam, and I'll throw in that these guys have been pretty lucky this year as far as run prevention. So if you're just looking at that, that's probably how they got their relatively high salaries, but not expecting that to be sustainable, and they have tough matchups.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how about the hitting then? Because there is some ownership on the hitting, but you're not getting much leverage going to the bats here. So Alex, I'll ask you first, and which side would be more appealing to you, or is neither appealing?
I'll throw out this is essentially a must-win game for Cleveland, and to a lesser extent, Washington. So these teams will be battling hard. Cleveland needs to gain 2 games on Tampa to make the playoffs, make the wild card game. And Washington needs to keep a 1-game lead versus Milwaukee to have a home field advantage in the wild card game. So I expect these guys to be trying hard. Tough matchup for the Bats, really. I mean, these guys aren't gas fans by any means. And the prices are reasonably high, so they're not really jumping out as great values. The ownership isn't particularly low. So I don't think I'll be super high on them. I might go to some cheaper stacks or the ones that just have higher potential for run scoring, because the team totals here are 4.8 and 5.3.
So one quick question, one follow-up question about your point about these teams both playing for something. With the hitters, would you say that's a positive if they're playing for something, or is there a higher risk of these guys getting swapped out for a guy on the bench who prevents a better, like, a platoon matchup or whatever the case may be?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, guys like Ryan Flaherty, Gerardo Parra, Kurt Suzuki, guys who aren't great batters. Probably if they are in a leverage spot, the kind you'd want to get RBIs and whatnot. Like, they probably will get subbed out for some better batters. But I mean, the regulars should all be in good spots for sure.
That makes sense. Adam, how about you? Any interest in the hitters here who are going to be a little chalky, perhaps a bit overowned?
Yeah, pretty much the same boat as Alex. For the most part, I don't see great values in either team. There are a couple that really stand out. Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and Yasiel Puig on DraftKings, I think, are all available at really, really good salaries, but they're also getting a bunch of ownership compared to everyone else in this game. So there's not a huge edge there, I don't think. The one guy that stands out that we don't have projected for a ton of ownership that I think is a good value is Matt Adams at 3,500 on DraftKings. Batting 6th, that should also help keep his ownership down. Not the best hitter overall, but he does have a 250 ISO against right-handed pitching since the start of last year. And Plesac doesn't strike out a lot of guys, so that mitigates Adams' biggest weakness at the plate. So I think he's a good one-off that's getting lower ownership from this game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Certainly a big bat. And one of EMAC's favorite boys, a slightly heavy-set first baseman, is the EMAC recipe for success this year in our home run contest. So certainly a spot where Matt Adams can keep it going. You earned that nickname Fat Adams with a lot of love and care towards buffets. Let's keep it going here. We got Miami getting 3.7 implied runs against Vince Velasquez, one of the most important pitchers on the slate because he's going to be highly owned everywhere, industry-wide, reasonable prices, and he's had some good success in terms of strikeouts on the year. 26% K rate for him going against the Miami team who has not much power, a 25% K rate versus right-hand pitching on the year. And Philly on the other side getting 5.3 implied runs against Pablo Lopez, who's getting a park downgrade, but he's been decent on the year. Adam, I'll ask you first. How about the pitching? How are you feeling about, well, let's say both guys, but Velasquez in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I love Velasquez. I know he's going to be really popular, and I think that he should be. Alex and I talk about it a lot, that we're more interested in being contrarian with our bats than in fading pitchers that are popular, because pitching is just easier to project on a game-to-game basis than hitting is. Really good spot for Velasquez. 6 right-handed hitters plus the pitcher in the lineup for Miami. He has a 26.6% strikeout percentage against righties this year, 25% overall, 4.43 Sierra. The only thing he really struggles with is home runs. He's allowed 1.92 home runs per 9, but Miami doesn't have much power at all on the roster or in their lineup. So a pretty good spot for Velasquez. 6,200 on DraftKings really stands out as exceptionally favorable. I think that he's a perfectly fine option on FanDuel at 7,600 and on Yahoo at 38, but those salaries are at least a little bit more in line with where he probably should be priced than the DraftKings one is.
And would you have any Pablo Lopez interest just to close out the pitching here?
I don't think so. It is a negative park shift for him, like you said, going from Miami into Citizens Bank. 5+ implied run total for the Phillies. He's a decent pitcher, but on this slate, he's just more expensive than several other options that I'm interested in. I would rather be getting to some of the guys on the Phillies like Harper and Hoskins and Miller.
Makes sense. Alex, how about you? How about you and Vince Velasquez? He's had a good strikeout numbers on the year, a 26% K rate. You have him projected as being one of the better values, who also has a decent amount of upside according to your projections that we have, which of course you can check out yourself at awesemo.com/join. Use that promo code DeeperDive for half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. But Alex, how are you feeling about Vince Velasquez's prospects tonight as a very chalky play?
I feel good. I think that whenever you have a pitcher against Miami, you gotta like that. Vince Velasquez is probably a slightly below average starting pitcher, but he gets above average strikeouts, so he makes a nice fantasy play. And with the Marlins rolling out a lineup that is pretty bereft of power, I think that there's a pretty good chance he has a good game here. Pablo Lopez, on the other hand, much tougher matchup versus the Phillies, and he's more expensive, obviously on DraftKings. So I can't really see myself landing on him over Velasquez and guys like Brault.
Makes sense. Let's talk about the batters real fast here. Miami, I think you guys are not going to have much interest in, given even though they are obviously, the people out there in the YouTube chat perhaps, or in the comments of some of our videos may point out, Miami always blows up chalk pitchers. That's how it goes. On paper, not a great lineup. Maybe some Phillies bats interest. Adam, any hitters at all for you?
Yeah, I think that the lefties in the middle of this order, Harper, Brad Miller is a decent value. Hoskins is, not a lefty, but a pretty good hitter. Not my favorite stack overall, but I think that the middle of the order is pretty solid.
Yep. Alex, how about you? Any interest in the middle of the order here for Philly or any Miami? You want to load up on Miami tonight, perhaps?
I'm not really going to Miami tonight, but maybe for Shakira and J-Lo in February. Philadelphia, I think I have some interest that they're terrific values. Looks like you can be able to contrarian with them. Not a top option, but I think that on DraftKings and FanDuel in particular, they make pretty well priced plays.
All right, let's keep going here. We keep the pace up, guys. Hit the like button, by the way, because we are on YouTube now. So make the YouTube gods happy by hitting that like button. Otherwise, it may take us back off the air. And then you got to go to Periscope like a poor person. You don't want to do that. So go hit that like button on YouTube right now, please. We got a game here with Tampa Bay getting 5.7 implied runs on the road in Toronto against TJ Zoik. I believe that is the way we're supposed to pronounce it, like a Scooby-Doo sound effect. And on the other side, Toronto getting 3.8 implied runs against Tyler Glasnow, a guy who hasn't seen a lot of high-profile starts, but on the year has been really good. 0.9 whip, a 34% K rate. Everything's been looking really solid for him, and he projects well, according to you, Alex. So I'll ask you first, is Tyler Glasnow under-owned? Because we have him at 10%, under 10% projected ownership on DraftKings, and he projects really well as value.
No, I think he's probably over-owned. I mean, he let me pull up his numbers here, but he's just not going deep in games. His last start, he pitched 52 pitches, and preceding that, 51, 41 before that. So he's slowly coming back from injury. And if you add that all up, you're seeing probably a maximum of 4 innings here. We have seen some guys like Rich Hill go just a couple innings and put up some fantasy numbers that are legit. So I'm not ruling out that possibility that maybe he goes 4 innings, gets a lot of Ks, maybe like 6 if you're lucky, but not very likely.
Adam, how are you feeling about Glasnow? He has only pitched 3 innings per game over the last 2 seasons, so not a big outlay for him, but the strikeout numbers are there and he's opening, and we know he'll get a shot. It's a Toronto team who strikes out at a pretty decent clip. So how are you feeling about him, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, he has the highest strikeout percentage on the slate. He's a really, really good pitcher. But the issue is what Alex said. He's made 3 starts since coming back from the injured list, 41, 51, and 52 pitches. His last start, they had said they wanted him to go 4 innings. They pulled him after 3 at 52 pitches. So it's just basically impossible to expect any sort of long leash for him here. Very easily could strike out 6-7 guys in 3 or 4 innings. But with the way the pitching on this slate's laid out, with there being, Velasquez for less money, with there being Brault and Eovaldi down at the bottom, you're just kind of like walking a really fine line trying to get a pitcher like Glasnow that just really doesn't have that top end outcome in his range of outcomes because of the innings limit. you really need a lot of things to go right, and you have to run really well for it to work out. So that combined with the fact that he is getting some ownership, take me off of him.
That makes sense. I'm glad I'm not playing a lot of glass now. But let's talk about the hitters here, because Tampa Bay does have a pretty big implied total for them. According to the top stack tool, they have a decent chance of being a top stack, but slightly more ownership. So Alex, I'll turn it back to you. How do you feel about Tampa Bay as a stack, given that 4 of the top 5 guys here are going to be over 10% owned?
I like that they're incentivized to win here. I think they should be a little bit more predictable because of that. Some decent prices on Draftkings and Fanduel Yahoo. A little bit more sporadic. Who's good in the lineup, but Fanduel, they look like they might be a little bit over or under owned. On Draftkings, a little bit over owned. So I'm interested. I think I'll have some shares. It might be worth avoiding some of the platoon possibilities. So in this lineup, one of the guys I'd be concerned with, maybe Kevin Kiermaier, maybe Joey Wendell. If they bring in some left-handed relievers, these guys might get pulled. So I think the righties are perfectly safe. Meadows, Lau, both Laus, I guess. I think that they can make a nice stack for sure.
Adam, how are you feeling about both one isn't one a Lau and one a Low? It's like Brandon Lau and Nathaniel Lowe, which is just get on the same page, Lows and Laus, get in a meeting, everybody talk. But Adam, how are you feeling about the hitters here for Tampa Bay?
I think Tampa Bay is pretty interesting because it's a really positive park shift for them going into Rogers Center. It's been the best home run park in baseball this year, and these guys do have some power. Nate Lowe has power. Brandon Lau has power. Pham, Meadows, even d'Arnaud and obviously El Garcia. These guys do all have power. TJ Zoik is not a high strikeout guy. Gets a lot of ground balls and relies on that to prevent runs, but in general, that's not a recipe that plays all that well once you get to the major leagues. So I think that's appealing. And then when you look at the individual ownership on Tampa, you have ownership going to guys like Meadows, Pham, d'Arnaud, and Wendell, but then it really falls off. We have Brandon Lau, Nate Lowe, both projected for 2% ownership right now. I think it's going to be pretty easy to make a full Tampa stack where you can at least have 1 or 2 contrarian pieces in there.
And Toronto, I just want to confirm, you guys, no interest. Adam, you first, because the Tampa Bay bullpen's, I think now overall technically the best bullpen in the league. And Glass, now we talked about him, even if he is pitching a short start, he is going to be a guy who has a lot of strikeouts and a good ability to limit damage. Would you have any Toronto bats?
No, I think it's a really unappealing spot for Toronto. Just a lights out pitcher in Glass now going 3 or 4, and then a really good bullpen behind them.
Alex, no Toronto for you either?
Maybe Billy McKinney is a one-off. He's been on kind of a hot streak. Not that it really matters, but he's 7 on Yahoo, 22 on FanDuel. Those are pretty reasonable prices.
Yeah, leadoff spot, reasonable price. That is sort of the kind of guy you could see getting to even in a tough spot. Let's keep it going here. We got Baltimore getting 4.4 implied runs against Nathan Eovaldi, a guy who looked like he'd be the chalk play of the day. Still going to have some ownership for him on SP2 sites, but not going to be the guy who everybody's going to have today. Now, the other side, Boston getting now 6.6 implied runs against Asher Wojciechowski, a guy who has had some strikeout ability. Pretty good versus righty batters in particular, with a 25% K rate and a 1.3 whip. But his numbers have come back down to earth, overall a 5.8 xFIP, and still giving up a pretty high 11% barrel ball rate. So, Alex, I'll ask you first, Eovaldi, Woj, any of these guys appealing to you? I'm going to assume you're going to have some Eovaldi.
I think Eovaldi is playable on any site. For a little bit, they were pulling him pretty early in games, but the last 3, he's gone pretty deep. And he's 4,100 facing Baltimore. Baltimore's lineup right now is right around average, given my metrics, and I can understand the 5-team total. So this isn't a spot where I'm really expecting Eovaldi to be consistently great, but he's 4,100, 6,533. So given the average matchup, and he's like an average strikeout guy, that should be pretty good value.
How are you feeling, Adam, here? Eovaldi, are you trusting him here? Because he's going against your boy Big Play Hayes is in there now, and he's hitting well.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to trust Eovaldi, but at 4,100, it's just a lot more upside than downside for him. Pretty middle-of-the-road matchup against the Orioles, middle-of-the-road strikeout matchup, below average but not awful offense. It can clearly go wrong for Eovaldi, but he has about a 24% or 23% strikeout percentage this season. And he gives up power to lefties, but he does at least get strikeouts against both sides of the plate, which is nice. This park downplays left-handed power, and 2 of the 5 lefties in the Orioles lineup are hitting 8th and 9th. So a little bit less of a concern there. I just think that it's really tough to go wrong at 4,100 on FanDuel and Yahoo. He's in play, but far from a great option, I think. But on DraftKings, he just really stands out.
How about the hitting here? Because, there's going to be a ton of ownership on Eovaldi. And I by the way, I don't know if we've caught Big Play Hayes. I just made that nickname up. I think that should be his nickname, and we need to make that a thing officially. But he's been hitting the ball really well. The top 4 guys here are actually decent hitters in Baltimore's lineup. So, Adam, do you have any leverage against Eovaldi with these Baltimore bats?
I think on DraftKings, it's an interesting idea just because Eovaldi is getting so much ownership and the Orioles are not. The top stack tool right now, we have them projected for less than 1% aggregate ownership, and they're expensive too. So it's really unlikely that this team gets much ownership at all. But you do get upside from guys like VR, Hayes, Mancini, Smith. They're not bad hitters at the top. They have some power. They have some speed. So on DraftKings specifically, because of the ownership that Eovaldi's getting, I don't mind the Orioles.
That makes sense. And Boston, real fast, let's talk about that side too, because we gotta keep going. They're gonna get some ownership, but it looks like now they have a better chance to be at top stack than their ownership. JD Martinez not being in that lineup seems like it's dropping it overall. So, Adam, how are you feeling about Boston's potential here with one of the higher implied totals on the slate?
I think that it's still a pretty good spot for them. Obviously no JD Martinez makes them less appealing, but a 6.5 implied run total. Wojciechowski has decent strikeout stuff, particularly against right-handed hitters, but gives up power to both sides. And the top of the order, at least, is still pretty formidable with Betts, Devers, Bogarts, Moreland. Then it, drops off, but you also get some nice value down towards the bottom of the order. Sam Travis starting against a right-handed pitcher with Mitch Moreland in the lineup makes him less of a pinch hit risk than he normally is. So that's someone that you can roster with a little bit more confidence as well. So I do still like Boston here.
Alex, how are you feeling about Boston's prospects? Because they are going to be decently owned, but mostly going to the top guys with, as Adam mentioned, not a lot of ownership going to Sam Travis, not much to Bradley, not to the bottom of the order at all.
I want to take a second and respond to some YouTube comments with the tout here. I've heard some people recommend when I'm talking, put it on 1.5x. When Chris is talking, put it on 0.75x. Adam, I think you're 1x. I really like the Red Sox tonight. I mean, their ownership is pretty low. They have absolutely nothing to play for, which means that they're probably not going to micromanage the game. Probably going to just let whoever's out there play all the innings. And they're terrific values tonight. Moreland, especially on FanDuel, Holt and Travis on DraftKings, and Travis on Yahoo. Just absurdly cheap. And it's the team projected for 6.7 runs. That is a really high total. Fenway makes sense, Batters Park. So they're set up in a good spot, and they aren't going to be outrageously owned.
That makes sense. Yeah. And also, I guess that would make Adam the mama bear out of us, where Alex, you'd be the papa bear with your speed of talking, and I'd be the baby bear. So congrats, mama bear, Adam. You've moved up in the world. Your porridge is just right. I think that's what we're hoping for. Let's keep going with, is that like a dated reference? Do kids still know Goldilocks? Is that a thing?
I remember Goldilocks.
Okay, I know we would, but I feel like some of the YouTube people out there, the Salvetri age ones might be like, Goldilocks, that shit's lame as hell. SpongeBob all the way.
Dude, Goldilocks, man, that's the perfect fable for DFS.
In what way, Alex?
Well, I mean, like, you're looking for a Goldilocks lineup, and that's exactly what we're trying to recommend at Awesemo.com. One of the new things this season is the top stacks tool. And what you find is if a play is too good, too many people are going to have them. If it's too far out there, you're just throwing your money away. You got to find something in the middle where you're really balancing both factors.
Wow,
that was a hell of a segue.
Made that work. That was legitimately impressive.
Thank you.
Let's get Jake to make up some graphics saying the Goldilocks of DFS, Awesemo.com. Something to work on for us moving forward, but let's keep it going. We got Atlanta getting 3.7 implied runs against Marcus Stroman, the Mets pitcher who is now over 10K on DraftKings. Price moving up. He's had a good year, though, in terms of the things that Marcus Stroman does well. Being a good real-life pitcher, not a great fantasy pitcher at a 20% K rate. On the other side, Dallas Keuchel, kind of similar thing. Not a bad real-life pitcher. Sure, he'll be valuable in the playoffs keeping the ball down, but still not a guy who has a lot of strikeouts. Just a 19% K rate for him on the year. Adam, any interest in either of these guys?
Not on DraftKings, not really on FanDuel. On Yahoo, I think there is some. Marcus Stroman's only $33 over there. And at that salary, you can start to take on a little bit more or you're a little bit more willing to roster mediocre strikeout pitchers like Stroman that are, just good real life pitchers. It's not a bad Atlanta lineup, but the bottom of the order is pretty weak with Flowers, Hamilton, and Keuchel. So I think that Stroman on Yahoo specifically is fine.
Alex, how about you? Any interest in these kind of overpriced but quality real life pitchers?
Yeah, I'm looking at this price of Stroman, 10.3K on DraftKings. I mean, whoa, man. On FanDuel, I think you can play him, though. He projects pretty well here, like Atlanta. They have Dallas Keuchel at the mound, and that's always a situation where I like the pitcher against him because he struck out 73% over the past couple of years, and he actually goes deep enough in games to get a couple of plate appearances. That will add a couple of points to a guy's projection, and Stroman needs that because he isn't a great strikeout guy. And I think I'll take some shots on FanDuel. On Yahoo, I think both guys are kind of playable, but I'm not sure I'd get there because the salary constraints aren't really as difficult.
All right, let's talk about the Bats fast because I'm going to assume you guys don't have a ton of interest. Again, two guys for the most part do limit damage other than the occasional blow up. Alex, any interest at all in the Atlanta Bats or the Mets Bats?
No, this game, 8.1 team total. Not really a situation where I'm really looking for bats. I mean, a couple of years ago, that would have been average, but these days it's far below average, so there's better spots.
Adam, any bats for you here?
I like the price tag on Freddie Freeman on DraftKings. He's only 4,200, but outside of that, no.
All right, let's keep going here. We got one of the more important games here in terms of ownership. The Yankees getting 6.8 implied runs against old Joe Palumbo in Texas. A warm day in Texas, not crazy hot, but 85 degrees expected to be there. Texas on the other side getting 4.2 implied runs against James Paxton, who's been looking closer to playoff form. His price is up. He's got a 30% K rate if we're rounding up. Kind of looking better, still struggling a little bit with power, particularly to righties, but a guy who's been really solid. Let's talk, I guess, Paxton, just in case you guys have interest. Adam, any interest at all in James Paxton?
I would have interest, and it's the case with several aces tonight. I think there's legitimate concerns about how deep Paxton goes into the game because the Yankees don't really have much to play for. He, in his last start, only threw 87 pitches, went 6 innings, no earned runs, not like he was pitching poorly or anything. I think that, maybe you can get him, 95 to 100, but you're kind of just guessing. And on DraftKings, he's up to 11,200, which is, obviously a really expensive price point. On FanDuel, he's 9,800, which I think is more reasonable. And on Yahoo, he's 45, which is a solid salary. Like he's a really good pitcher. It's an okay spot going against the Rangers. Not the best park in Texas, especially when you consider that this time of the year, the weather in most parks is more conducive to pitching, whereas Texas, it's still hot. So that's still working against him. But pretty site dependent. Don't love him anywhere just because I think that there are legit questions about how deep the Yankees have him go.
Makes sense. Alex, same thing for you here with James Paxton, guy who's had good strikeouts, but may not go that deep and also isn't in the perfect conditions.
I'll throw out a counterpoint to Adam here. I think that now that the World Series home field advantage is decided by record, the Yankees are 1 game behind the Dodgers in the potential matchup there. So there's a little bit of incentive here. Paxton is just too expensive to really justify playing him here on today's slate, though. The Texas lineup usually has guys that strike out a lot more than today, so it's not that favorable. Really tough park for pitching, and I think you can find guys who have more factors working in the favor.
All right, the hitting here is the main event, though, because it looks like the Yankees are going to be extremely highly owned industry-wide. On DraftKings in particular, they have the best chance of being a top stack, but also the top chance, second most ownership overall. It looks like a strong spot here against Palumbo, a guy who on the over the last year, just a 1 year sample, has a 303 ISO allowed, but getting hit pretty hard with a 9% barreled ball rate. Adam, the hitters here for the Yankees, anybody here jumping out who you would like to go to differentiate from the ownership, or how are you feeling about the stack overall?
Yeah, so obviously a really good stack, really good hitting conditions. One thing that's unfortunate is that you did get a watered-down Yankees lineup. Encarnacion's still not back. No Aaron Judge in the lineup, so that makes it a bit weaker. Gary Sanchez is back, which is nice to see. Tons of ownership, though, going to Torres, Stanton, Sanchez in particular, and then good amount also going to LeMahieu and Voit. So it's a team where if you are going to 5-man stack them, I think that obviously don't be afraid, even though it's not an ideal. It's not ideal to roster Brett Gardner in a lefty-lefty matchup or $4,500 Cameron Maben, but those guys are just going to be so much lower owned than the rest of the stack that it gives you a chance to get a contrarian Yankee stack, even though as a team they're going to be really popular.
Alex, how are you feeling about this Yankee stack here? Because as Adam mentioned, the bottom four here looks pretty unknown. That includes Gio Urshela, who's at a decent price. Certainly his hand got a little bit hurt earlier in the week, but he has 250 ISO versus lefties. So how would you approach this Yankee stack, Alex?
Let me make a correction real quick. I didn't read this right. So the World Series home field apparently is only determined by the league pennant winner, or the highest number of games won in the American and National League. So it would be the Dodgers and Houston that decide home field advantage, regardless of who makes it into the World Series. So it's kind of weird.
It's really counterintuitive.
Oh, yeah,
better than the All-Star game, I guess. But
yeah, they're moving in the right direction.
I don't know how they agreed on that. That's bizarre. The Yankees, I think, 17 total. That is one of the higher totals we've seen this year outside Coors. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic. And they got some good players: Torres, Stanton, Voit, Judge. I mean, guys with a lot of power. So one of the top players of the night, certainly.
And the bottom of the order, guys, like a guy like Mike Ford's hit lefties pretty well in a somewhat limited sample size. Is there any way you would differentiate that stack? Because it looks like the top five pretty much straight away is going to be what's owned.
That's going to be the question. I think Urshela, decent player. Gregorius. Gardner is really the only guy I'd rule out of my stacks.
Got it. All right, let's keep going here. We got Milwaukee, who has the highest implied total of the slate, getting 7.4 implied runs. As the YouTube chat's pointing out right now, no Mike Moustakas in the lineup, and they appear crestfallen in YouTube land. Still, we got to try to persevere here. I'm going to just skip the pitching because I don't think we're going to go there. But the hitting here, Alex, I'll turn it to you first. Milwaukee getting a big run total here. A spot against Senzatella, a guy who doesn't have a big ISO for a pitcher who does pitch in Coors half the time, but still not a good pitcher with a 12% K rate. How are you feeling about Milwaukee's prospects?
Feel good. I think that Coors Field has disappointed people enough this year that maybe not as many people will go to the Brewers as they should. I mean, 8.1 team total, you gotta love that. The prices are high, so I think it'll be tough to build a roster with them. So a lot of people will end up on the same value pitchers. So I think there's a lot of room for creativity here with how you stack them up, and I think it's probably the top stack.
Yeah, the best probability of being the top stack, according to Alex's top stacks tool, which of course you get with that Awesemo membership. Let's go to awesemo.com/join and see what we have there. Adam, how are you feeling about Milwaukee here? Again, going to be really highly owned, but seems like a spot in Coors that people are underappreciating.
Yeah, I mean, really sucks that Moustakas isn't up. He was obviously one of the best plays on the slate, but still just an appealing spot against the pitcher in Senzatella that doesn't miss a lot of bats. That's really important in Coors. We talk about it a lot, that it's a good park for home runs, but where you really get the value is just that so many balls in play fall in for hits, and you get bigger innings that way. So when you have pitchers like Senzatella and Davies on the other side that are really low strikeout pitchers, it just gives you an even better chance of success for the opposing team. So Milwaukee is really expensive. I think that's not really an issue, though, given that we have cheap pitching that we can go to on the slate that we feel pretty good about. So on one hand, it's not going to feel good paying like $5,500 for Trent Grisham or $5,600 for Castanera or $5,800 for Ryan Braun, but really, really good spot, and I don't really mind the pricing.
And then how about the hitters, Adam, on Colorado? Because we're going to have some ownership, it looks like, for Blackmon, Arenado, and Story, the main guys, but the crappier Rockies not getting much ownership. So how are you feeling about them going against Davies? I
like it. I think that, a lot of the ownership from this game will go to the Milwaukee side, but Colorado isn't as good as Milwaukee, clearly. But Blackmon, Arenado, Story are all good. Murphy's available at an appealing price point. Sam Hilliard has speed and power. McMahon has some power. I like both sides of this game. I think that we have Colorado as a stack right now projected for a bit more ownership than they deserve, but I also think that is kind of a function of probably just like Arenado, Blackmon, and Story more so than the rest of the team.
That makes sense. Alex, how are you feeling about Colorado? Because they are getting less ownership than Milwaukee, but maybe you have some easier ways to differentiate and get creative, as you mentioned.
I'd be a little bit worried with the Brewers pitching because while Davies isn't that good, what I'm expecting is he'll go through the order 2 times at most. And then the Brewers bullpen, I think because they have a lot of incentive to win this game, they're really going to micromanage the relief pitchers, and you're not going to get any platoon advantages with these guys, especially since they have 4 lefties in a row at the bottom of the order. So I'm not super high on Colorado from like an analytical standpoint and from median projection standpoint, they're not really standing out as great values either.
Yeah, the Milwaukee bullpen has a 27% K rate, which is one of the better numbers for a bullpen in the league. So certainly can cause some issues here if they are going to go very analytic with their approach, because they are playing for the NL Central crown in addition for that wild card seeding.
Yeah, I think that was a really good point.
Yeah, so they have some stuff to play for. Speaking of the other part of the NL Central race here, we have St. Louis getting 5.2 implied runs against Alec Mills. Cubs getting 3.3 on the other side. Joe Madden made clear the Cubs are playing to win here. They are trying to play a spoiler down the stretch, and they have a shot here to spoil St. Louis at home in a park that's going to favor pitching. So Alec Mills or Dakota Hudson. Adam, any interest in either of these guys?
I don't think so. Mills just not really that good. Hudson's not that good either. Not a lot of strikeout stuff. And the Cubs are running a major league lineup out today after whatever they did yesterday. Castellanos, Schwarber, Contreras all back in the lineup. So a bit tougher shot for Hudson. Just not really looking at either pitcher.
Really, no, Mills, I'm surprised to say he's not good. At least like the limited sample size he's got in the majors, he's had a pretty good K rate and also a low whip. Is it more of a minor league thing with him?
Yeah, I think he's. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's not someone that I expected.
So in 2019, he's faced 130 guys, 25.4% K rate, 1.1 whip. Going back to last year, 1.1 whip, 28% K rate, but only 3.3 innings pitched. So I figured maybe he doesn't pitch deep enough into games for you. But yeah, the numbers do look good overall.
Yeah, he's 27, not a top prospect, doesn't have any particularly good stuff. 20% strikeout percentage at AAA last year, 21.5 this year. I don't buy into the 25% strikeout percentage in the majors.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. Well, you guys have got me off Mills and Glass now, so I appreciate that. Alex, how are you feeling here about the hitting? Because we do have a Cubs team with a low implied total, but St. Louis kind of a high one for their park and going against a guy in Mills who maybe not good, but still has mitigated damage on his major league stints.
I really like this game from a narrative standpoint because St. Louis, I think, eliminated the Cubs from real contention for the playoffs last week. And now the Cubs could either play the spoiler or more likely they're just going to get another nail in the coffin for these division rivals. I'm actually shocked that the Cubs have such a low team total of 3.9 because that shows that bettors are really valuing Dakota Hudson as above average pitcher because the weather here is going to be pretty warm in the 80s to start the game. And they have about an average lineup rolling out there. So I'm a little surprised by that. Maybe that would be the anti-Vegas play, but they're priced up too, so I'm not really that interested. St. Louis is really, really cheap on Draftkings Yahoo, more expensive on FanDuel. I think the ownership will probably reflect that. So I like that most on FanDuel is kind of a contrarian play where DraftKings and Yahoo expecting the best plays to be a little bit overowned.
All right, that makes sense. Let's keep going here. We got 5 games left, and we're gonna do this. Goddammit. Minnesota implied runs against Eric Skoglund, a guy who's been terrible on the year. Limited sample size, only faced 83 batters this year, but he has a 2% K rate. Going back to a larger sample, going back to last year, he's got a 13.6% K rate overall. Not good numbers for Skoglund. Perhaps he's broken overall. Jose Barrios on the other side, price coming back up, has shown some signs of life, but still not a great strikeout pitcher on the year. 23% K rate. I'm going to assume there's no Skoglund interest from anybody, but Adam Barrios, is he a guy you're going to be landing on at all?
No, not really interested in either pitcher here. There are some weather concerns in this game too, but Minnesota is another team that's pretty much locked into, they've already locked up the division. They're 5 games behind Houston for the best record in the American League, so they're not getting there. So I think there are concerns about how deep Barrios actually goes into the game. And then also he's not a great strikeout pitcher. He is really expensive. So I don't really see getting to him either.
Alex, how about you? Any interest in Barrios? Or if you want to get real weird, Skoglund?
I think that on FanDuel or on Yahoo, Barrios is significantly cheaper than on DraftKings and FanDuel. So I think this price on Yahoo is where I think he should be at 42, and that could make a nice tournament play. But too expensive on the other sides.
All right, got it. Let's keep going here to the hitters. Minnesota looking pretty good against Skoglund, a guy who's got nothing to offer. Alex, these bats here, gigantic power. They set a major league record in home runs recently. They can keep adding to that, even though the park's still not a great one for power overall. How are you feeling about Minnesota's bats?
Feel good. I think 6.6 team total would usually be pretty inspiring, but because it's there are a couple teams projected above them, they might not stand out quite as much, and they might be pretty low owned, especially on Yahoo. so they can make a nice play.
All right. And Adam, how are you feeling about the Bats here? Minnesota, are they going to be interested in you, and any Kansas City at all?
Yeah, I think Minnesota is really interesting. Skoglund's just not a good pitcher. Left-handed, doesn't strike guys out, gives up some power. And obviously we know that there's tons of power in the Minnesota lineup. Their lineup hasn't come out yet, so we will obviously want to keep an eye on who's actually in it. But Nelson Cruz, Mitch Garver stand out as really good plays. CJ Crone, I think, is a great value against Skoglund. Again, it looks like there could be storms moving in partway through the game, so some risk here, but hopefully that'll just keep ownership down a little bit.
Also, Uncle DFS pointing out in the premium Slack, which of course you get with that Awesome Plus membership, Nicholas Castellanos not in the game tonight. He's a late scratch, or not a late scratch, but a scratch from that lineup. So if you were planning on playing that low total Cubs team, keep that in mind. Let's keep going. San Diego getting 4.3 implied runs gets Taylor Clark. Open roof here in Arizona, but not the hottest day, projected to be just under 80 degrees by first pitch. Arizona getting 5.2 implied runs against Eric Lauer. I'm going to assume, based on the projections, not much in the way of pitching, but just confirm, Adam, pitching interest at all?
No. Taylor Clark just doesn't strike anyone out, gives up a lot of home runs. Eric Lauer is a middle-of-the-road guy, but he's priced appropriately. He doesn't have a very good matchup against Arizona either.
All right, so how about the hitting then, Adam? Because I think it could be an interesting spot here with the roof open, and Clark getting really battered on the year. 296 ISO allowed over the course of the entire season. On the other side, Lauer, getting a park. Well, I guess it's kind of a lateral move overall based on this year's numbers, but still a guy where theoretically could give up power. This Arizona lineup who has some dangerous bats. Any hitting at all for you, Adam?
I think Arizona is interesting as a really low-owned stack. They are running out a pretty favorable lineup in terms of roster construction. There's 5 righties to start out the lineup. The only lefty in there is Josh Rojas. Wilmer Flores, Escobar, Walker all have power. It would be better if Kettle Marte were healthy, but he's not. But still, you're getting less than 1% aggregate ownership on the Diamondbacks. They have an implied run total over 5. The roof is open, like you said, which makes the park play a little bit more neutral than when the roof's closed. So I think that, it's not a team that you need necessarily to have massive amounts of exposure to. But I do think there's power. I do think they're affordably priced, and they're really low owned.
Yeah, the bottom of the order does seem to have a good bit of power. Also, Taylor Clark has a 273 ISO versus lefties, which, fun fact for Taylor Clark. He's good at one thing in baseball, so he's got that going for him. Alex, how are you feeling here about the hitters? Any San Diego or Arizona for you?
I think on Yahoo, San Diego is incredibly cheap. They average about $8 to $9 throughout the order. So they make an insanely good value play to maybe fill out your roster. On FanDuel, there's some really good values as well. Probably some guys that are going to be high owned. I don't think we know the lineup yet, so we won't really know for sure how to approach this. But these low projected, high value teams are generally ones I stay away from. And San Diego fits that bill. Arizona on FanDuel fits that bill. But on Draftkings, they're priced up more where they should be, so they could be a nice spend-up option.
All right, we got another game here with Houston getting 5.5 implied runs, heading into Anaheim for a game against the Angels. Patrick Sandoval and Jose Urquidy, 2 guys who have had decent strikeout rates on the year. Both guys over 25%. Sandoval 25.2, Urquidy at 25.9. Not the greatest projections from you, Alex. So any interest at all on Sandoval or Urquidy?
Urquidy, I think there's some concern about how deep he'll go. He hasn't really been pitching full games over the course of the season, so I think around 4 innings is probably a reasonable projection. And he's not really good enough of a pitcher to justify that. The Angels lineup being a little bit tougher than average for strikeouts, most likely. And Sandoval just has a really tough matchup versus Houston, so I'm not interested.
Adam, any pitching here for you?
Not really. I think you could look to Urquidy on Yahoo. He's $28. And the Angels do, have a watered down lineup, but still not a ton of strikeouts, especially now that they're just jamming Fletcher, Simmons, and Pujols into the top. And I think that we really don't know what the Astros want out of him. He threw 58 pitches his last time out. He threw 86 before that. So pretty legitimate concerns about how deep he goes. As far as Sandoval, just a brutal matchup against Houston.
So how about the Bats? Houston always going to be a team that's in consideration when they're not very owned, but they do have a good bit of ownership going for them. The price is kind of reasonable for the lineup they're putting out there. For Michael Brantley in particular on DraftKings, looking very cheap. Adam, how are you feeling about the Houston Bats?
I think they're kind of always going to come in lower owned than they should, right? Like with how late they released their lineup. Right. It's really tough for people to be confident about who's going to be in it. So like Alex has mentioned the last couple of days, if you can be around your computer to edit your Houston stacks after their lineup comes out, probably after lock, you can definitely get a nice, edge on the field. It's tough though if you don't have that time, because like we really have no idea who's going to be in this lineup. So I do like the spot for Houston. Hopefully they run out a lineup that has Springer, Altuve, Bregman, in it. But it's just really tough to know who's going to be there.
Makes sense. Alex, how are you feeling about the Houston Bats?
Well, now that I know that they have this World Series home field advantage to play for,
we all learned something throughout the course of this hour.
I feel good with them. I agree that we probably won't know who will be in the lineup until after lock, which my girlfriend won't be happy about. But sometimes it just takes a little bit more dedication to the competition to make some results happen here. I like them on FanDuel as kind of a contrarian high upside option. On Draftkings, not quite as contrarian, but more fairly priced, so they'll be in the mix for me. Yahoo. There's 3 guys that are just really, really high priced: Springer, Bregman, and Alvarez, and that'll make it hard to build a stack. If some of those guys aren't in the lineup, I might be more interested.
And Alex, I'm sure any girlfriend out there will appreciate dedication to achieve better results. So I'm sure you'll be fine as long as you couch that the right way. If you position it like the Goldilocks analogy, you'll be good to go.
Thanks for the shot, man.
Let's keep going. We got Oakland getting 5.2 implied runs against Justice Sheffield. Sheffield hasn't been much better this year, though he has limited power a little better over the course of this season. A top prospect who perhaps has not fully found his way. And he's in Seattle going against, or rather he's always in Seattle. But the Oakland is going against Seattle. He's getting 3.8 implied runs against old fly ball Mike Fiers. Adam, the pitching here not looking good. I assume neither of these guys for you?
No, Fiers is just more expensive than I would want. It's a good matchup against Seattle. They strike out plenty. They don't have a lot of good hitters. Like, it wouldn't be shocking if Fiers has one of his random really good starts here, but it's not something that I'm expecting to happen. I don't really think I need to get there on this slate. On the other side, obviously just a really brutal matchup for Justice Sheffield against a very right-handed heavy Oakland team that doesn't strike out a lot and has tons of power. So not really on either pitcher. If I had to pick one, I would go to Fiers.
Alex, neither pitcher for you, or are you going to have a little bit of one of these guys?
Yeah, neither one's really standing out to me. Can't expect Fiers to get a lot of strikeouts because he's only at 17% of the season. And he's just not cheap enough for that kind of rate.
How about the Oakland Bats for you, Alex? Because there is a lot of power here, as Adam mentioned, and a lot of righties here who could theoretically stick it to Justice Sheffield. He's had a 200 ISO over the last 2 seasons. Would you have any interest in this Oakland stack?
Yeah, I think the Oakland stack is going to be one of my favorites of the night because they seem to be going under the radar, projected to do really well, 5.8 runs. And, I mean, while Milwaukee and a couple other teams are projected higher, that kind of projection of 5.8 gives them a reasonable chance of getting 10 or more runs, and they aren't that hard to get to. They don't seem to be too high owned, so I think they might just slip through the cracks tonight and be a little bit lower owned than they should.
Adam, do you agree there that they might slip through the cracks even though they have that big potential and a lot of hitters that were competent and have good power?
Yeah, it looks like we're projecting them for pretty low ownership right now. They're another team that we might get that lineup late because I think we're waiting on news from Mark Canha and for Chris Davis. So that's something that could also drive down ownership, make our life a little bit tougher, but more importantly, drive down ownership. So I think that we know Chapman, is a really good value. Matt Olson in the lefty-lefty matchup is still fine. His price tag's come down quite a bit. Laureano is a good play. And then, if we get Canha or Davis in the lineup, they're both really good options too.
Yeah, really high quality hitting team here. 214 ISO on the year for Oakland versus left-hand pitching. So they could certainly take advantage of old Justice here. All right, hey guys, we're in the home stretch. Hit that like button. We're going to do the last game here. Then we'll hit on the top stacks and pitchers for both these brilliant gentlemen. And of course, also thanks to our sponsor, Yahoo. Go check out Emacs Spotlight Stacks and Pitchers and Hitters article on the homepage. See a link right there to get to Yahoo and use that promo code AWESEMO, AWESEMO, for your $30 in YSRPs, Yahoo Sports Reward Points. It'll help you get some extra money to play some more tournaments, getting that $1 Million Baller, one of the better no management fee tournaments out there. All right, we got the last game here. The Dodgers getting 4.3 implied runs against Johnny Cueto, who's looked resurgent so far in his limited sample size, but really not getting a lot of strikeouts, though. Just a 20% K rate. Seems like he's due for worse things to come, especially going against the Dodgers. On the other side, we have Walker Buehler, who's going to be pretty owned, but it looks like his ownership has kind of come down throughout the day, getting 3.2 implied runs for him, one of the lowest on the slate, actually the lowest on the slate, going against San Francisco. Adam, Buehler, Cueto. I assume you'll have some Buehler. Any Cueto interest at all?
No Cueto interest, just really tough matchup against the Dodgers. No reason to expect Cueto to be the ace type pitcher that he was years ago. Also concerns about how deep he goes into the game. Only threw 78 pitches his last time out. So nothing there. For Buehler, I think that he's my favorite out of the expensive pitchers. It's I think the best combination of matchup and park between him, Paxton, and Berrios, and just stuff for Buehler. But he has those same concerns. He actually hasn't reached 100 pitches in any of his last 7 starts. The Dodgers have clinched the best record in the National League. They're competing, I guess, with the Astros for the World Series home field, like Alex said. But outside of that, they don't have anything to play for. So I would be kind of surprised if Buehler snaps his streak of not throwing 100 pitches tonight. And he is really expensive. So with how many good, expensive hitting options there are on the slate, I'm not prioritizing a almost $12,000 pitcher.
It could be a quick hook with that Dodgers bullpen behind him. Alex Buehler, would you have any trust in him given the fact that he projects fairly well? He does have some upside even if he is pitching a limited stint.
I don't think there's much reason to go there. The Giants lineup just came out. It's not too easy to strike out. Only 2 guys above average, Yastrzemski and the pitcher. And they actually have been getting better over the course of the season. A little bit below average matchup, I'd say. Of course, San Francisco is a good park for pitchers, so that's a nice bump. But I don't think he really justifies 11.7K on DraftKings. On FanDuel, we're a one-pitcher slate. 10.2K is more reasonable. But there's a big opportunity cost because it prevents you from getting to the top stacks of the night. Yahoo at 54. That's kind of the Goldilocks area. So I think I like him there.
That seems fair. How about these Dodgers hitters going against Johnny Cueto, given that it is a pretty bad park, but still they are the Dodgers and they hit well. Alex, would you have any of the hitting for them?
I think they're interesting. On FanDuel, basically 0% ownership on anyone. DraftKings, single digits at the most. So I think there's something there, but probably on the 14-game list, I don't think I'll make it into the Dodgers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Adam, any Dodgers for you, even though that is sort of a tough one to get to on a 14-game slate?
Yeah, same thing for me. Like 58 degrees in San Francisco tonight. I mean, you do have price down Jock Peterson, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger. Obviously, really, really good hitters that can do damage anywhere. But with all the bad pitching on this slate, all the favorable hitting conditions, it just seems like going a little bit too far to be, actively seeking out guys in San Francisco.
That makes sense. All right, guys, we are now at the point, top stacks and favorite pitchers overall. But guys, hit that like button because Alex and Adam are going to give you some great picks, but they'll be even better if you've liked the video beforehand. That is just how karma works. Adam, who are your top stacks on the slate?
Yankees, Twins, Athletics.
Alex, how about you? Top stacks?
I like Brewers, Astros, and Athletics.
All right, and favorite pitchers on the slate. Adam, you go first.
Velasquez and Eovaldi. Eovaldi on DraftKings.
Alex, how about you?
Probably those are my favorite as well. On FanDuel, I'll give some love to Bueller and Stroman, and on Yahoo, I think Bueller is probably more in play than the other sites.
All right, so guys, hit that like button. Of course, it's going to be the same stream today for the deeper dive and live before lock. So stay tuned for Josh and Jake coming up momentarily for their season finale of MLB's regular season live before lock. And of course, again, hit that like button. Thank you to our sponsor, Yahoo. Go check out Emac's article on the Osmo homepage, the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks. If you want to see a way there to get $30 in free YSRPs with Yahoo Sports reward points. And those are completely the same as money on there. So go check those out. And Alex, this is the regular season finale. This is your first show that you've done on a regular basis and contributed a lot throughout the course of the year. So what are your parting words to all the folks?
Yeah, just thanks everyone for supporting us through the regular season. Thanks, Adam, of course, for grinding it out every day, and Laffy as well. I think he was at the game last night, so he had a couple days off. But Chris, we appreciate you filling in on some of these shows. And just thanks everyone for subscribing to the site and supporting our live broadcasts.
And Adam, I got to turn it over to you too, because the deeper dive, you're going to get a couple weeks off here before you're back in NBA mode. So how are you feeling about the deeper dive season you had?
Yeah, it's always kind of bittersweet when a season ends, but really excited to be back for NBA season. That's always really fun. I think it's my favorite sport to talk about just because everything changes every single day as far as matchups and stuff goes. So you can kind of get into it a little bit more than baseball. So really excited for the NBA deeper dive version in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so guys, keep your eyes peeled for the NBA coming up in a little bit. And of course, on this very link, stay tuned for Josh and Jake coming up momentarily for MLB Live Before Lock. And also catch me and Alex tomorrow on The Contrary, 2 p.m. Eastern for all your NFL needs. We've got Ian Hartitz coming over, another great football analyst from Roto World. Let's go check that show out tomorrow. We'll be back with you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekends and good luck.
We made it. We made it. It's been a long season, yet here we are, live before lock, Friday, September 27th, the final MLB Live Before Lock for the regular season. Closing it out with me, Jake Hari. Jake, what's up, man?
Not a ton, just bittersweet, like the guy said before. End of the season, I won't be talking to you and Adam and Chris as much, and Laffy too. But we'll be doing, I think, some of our favorite stuff here in the next coming weeks, and it'll probably be our favorite things to do for like a month, and then we'll start, having a rough stretch, and then we'll be wanting MLB back. So end of the season, always tough for MLB to try to sift through the narratives and all that and terrible lineups that you're going to see. But we made it indeed.
By the end of the NBA season, I'm ready to not work through like NBA rotations for garbage teams, and I'm ready to just paste in a lineup and be done. Now I'm ready to like work through that stuff. It's so weird.
Yeah, same here.
Alrighty, so let's do the plugs for the final time. Live Before Lock is the promo code. Let me pause for a second. Kyle Sexton asks, where's the rest of the boy band for the two of us? Top Notch says, NSYNC making a return. If NSYNC's making a return, Lance Bass available? Yeah. Yeah, that's a Lance Bass bobblehead that sits on my desk 24/7.
You've never pulled that one out before, I don't think. At least when I've been on the show.
Yeah, Lance Bass sits on my desk right in front of me. 24/7.
That's pretty dope. Yeah.
Anyway, Live Before Lock is the promo code. One big word. Get 50% off your first month of Awesemo Plus. If you want to check out everything we have to offer, and MLB on the way out, NBA and hockey coming in soon, plus a plethora of other sports, MMA, soccer. I'm just naming the things that I know and do, but we've got it all. Come check it out, Live Before Lock. And shout out to Fantasy Draft, the presenting sponsor of the Live Before Lock show. Fantasy Draft is the only place that you're going to be playing rake-free daily fantasy. If you want to sign up there, go to fantasydraft.com, use the promo code AWESEMO, and get up to $1,000 in rake-free entries in your first 7 days. They are running the 700K Hooters main event for this Sunday, week 4 in the NFL. It's $100K to first. It's just a fantastic contest. Every dollar they take in entry fees gets paid right back out to the prize pool. There is no rake in the contest whatsoever. So highly recommend you guys go check them out. I will be there playing the large majority of my volume for the NFL.
As will I. I mean, there's a little bit of something for everyone, especially if you like 150 max, $1 150 max, $4 150 max, and big prizes. I mean, it's not like you're seeing just a few $100 in the prize pool. You got a chance to win $10K for a $600 investment in the $4. So that's been my favorite tournament so far. Hopefully once I win that, if I win that, I can stake up into the Hooters main event, maybe max that out a few times this season. So that's the goal. I have faith that Fantasy Cruncher. Well, Fantasy Cruncher too, but I have faith that Fantasy Draft is going to keep putting out these excellent contests.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really enjoying playing there. I'm excited to see their NBA offerings. I assume I'll be playing there quite a bit during the NBA season.
Yeah, I hope their NHL stuff is good too. And I think when I do play NBA, it will more than likely be on Fantasy Draft.
Smart.
Now that I think of it, because the CSV edit I really like. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I'm pretty excited to see what they roll out for NBA and see if maybe a fish like me can have some success over there.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see it. But we still have one more day of baseball to talk about.
We do.
So here we go. Have we gotten an ownership update in the last 5-10 minutes? Nope, I have the last one, 542. So as of right now, Steven Brault, 44% owned on DraftKings. Eovaldi, 34. Vince Velasquez, 34. What do you like the most in that group of three? And then what do you like the least?
Yeah, I guess what I like the most is probably Eovaldi. His ownership came way down from our last ownership update. So I'm hoping that's a trend that continues. But you just got a $4,100 pitcher that shouldn't be $4,100 in a pretty good matchup as a -203 favorite I'm seeing right now. It's just too good of a spot to pass up. I can't remember if you guys talked about it on the strategy show, but he's expected to go like as deep as a normal starter, right?
I updated his projection. I set him at 4 innings this morning because I wasn't sure. Which was still making him the best value on the slate. I have updated that to 5 innings now.
Wow.
He might be the best dollar for dollar option I've seen all season.
Yep. He's got to be one of them. Like, wow, that value metric in Alex's projection is crazy.
I haven't looked at it yet. I should do that
for
right
a pitcher. Now. It is a 3.3x value. I mean, you just never see that.
Okay, so he and I are on the exact same wavelength. I'm at 3.7, but again, I'm usually like 30 to 40 total points heavier than Alex at pitching.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's an incredible play, and he's going to get owned. But this is a guy that even if he is owned, like it's still going to be difficult to dupe. You don't lock yourself into one sort of lineup construction. You can double punt. You can go with the mid-tier guys, your SP1. You can spend all the way up if you wanted to on your SP1. So it makes too much sense. And now that he's getting owned at the same rate as like a guy like Velasquez. And Velasquez is, what is that, 1.5 times as much on DK. It's a little bit puzzling to me. So I'm just going to go a ton of Eovaldi, it's looking like.
If I were playing on DraftKings tonight, I assume I would have like 70 to 80% Eovaldi.
I think that's the correct call, honestly.
The only thing that would stop it would be just if I end up with like a 50-50 split of Brault and Eovaldi.
Sure.
But I would fully expect 100% of my exposure to go to those two guys, which would be more than the 78 that we're projecting. But I am FanDuel only today, getting into a bunch of satellites and stuff for the NBA. Although you mentioned that there are satellites for NBA on DraftKings right now?
There are. I think I won a couple last night.
All right, you want to send me those tickets? I've got a couple hockey tickets for you.
Yeah, I'll just stake you. Do you actually have hockey tickets?
I certainly don't.
Yeah. You would never enter those contests.
No, just day one of the season. That's it. No NBA satellites right now.
They don't? They had them for Showdown last night.
Bunch of NBA or a bunch of NHL, but no NBA. They could just be filled.
That could be the case as well. Yeah, I won one opening tip-off ticket on the 22nd.
There you go.
So there we go. That's gonna bank my $250K or whatever for NBA.
Chip in a chair.
Yep. So obviously different conversation if we're talking about FanDuel. Do you have a favorite guy you're looking at?
It's so hard, man. Because Eovaldi is still my best point per dollar option. But he's 6,500 and he just doesn't have the same sort of upside as someone like Walker Buehler. I mean, I have Walker Buehler 4 times as likely to hit his target score compared to Eovaldi. So that makes it kind of tricky. Walker Buehler would be my guy. I think 10-2 is a really reasonable price tag for him. So I'm anticipating getting more Walker Buehler than anybody else on FanDuel, but honestly, I don't know yet. We still need what? Twins, Astros, Angels, Dodgers lineups. So I guess I could throw a dummy in right now for the next, 15 minutes or so and see where I'm sort of landing because I have not looked at anything yet.
Speaking of the Twins, I'm sure this is going to be a popular question as we go, unless we get some more clarity on it. But how concerned are you about the weather in KC? That looks like a game that could potentially have some issues.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I have not looked.
I mean, you're not missing out now.
I'm going to look at it right now.
Yeah. So Alex has it at a very, very tiny chance right now. But he just, if the number is not 0, so that's all you really need to know. If you're a premium member, Alex has postponement risks on his projections.
I think I'm going to pull it the way that it looks right now.
Oh, you're actually looking at the radar?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, so this is going to be huge because the Twins are a team I am very, very interested in playing tonight. And if we wipe them off the slate, I probably get a little bit less Eovaldi and Velasquez and all of these other guys. But
I assume that I pull it just because it's the end of the regular season and I don't care to bagel a bunch of lineups. It's just like I'm not interested in it.
All right. I forgot to enter contests on DK. So let me see if I can do this. I have to play just one last chance at the mini max.
That tournament can die as far as I'm concerned. The Manny Max.
The Manny Max, yeah. Manny Laura.
But if I were more enthusiastic about baseball right now, I would be just paying attention to Alex's postponement risk. That should dictate every decision you're making. I'm just going to wipe it off the map just so that I don't have to care. That's not the way that most people should do this. I
agree. I'm just going by whatever Alex has. He's going to do some of the work for you. That's the whole point of the site anyways, is that we're giving you the tools that you need to be a successful DFS player, and kind of the rest is left up to you.
Right.
And MLB weather is just something I have no interest in trying to figure out myself and second guess and listen to weathermen. Listen to the guy that's playing tens of thousands of dollars in volume every night.
Yep. He knows what he's doing. That's for sure. What are you doing with the pitching at the top end? Are you into your White Claw now?
Not yet. I was just about to pop it open. I'm just finishing this LaCroix, this cranberry LaCroix.
So basically the exact same thing.
No, this White Claw is a mango. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's pretty good.
I should have known better.
Well, yeah, it's completely different flavor. I need like something to clean out my palate.
They're both fruit. You act like one of them tastes like roast beef and mashed potatoes or something.
Well, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm not sipping whiskey over here.
No, you're not.
I'm not against it, but are you a whiskey guy? You seem like you would be.
More of a bourbon guy.
Bourbon? Yeah, that's what my brother says too. I classify them as the same thing, even though they're not the same thing.
I mean, if I'm going to sound really smarmy here, but I'm more of a cognac guy, but that makes me just sound like an even bigger asshole than I am.
What's the difference?
I don't know. It tastes better.
Okay. Oh, all right. I'm all for stuff tasting better. So.
Good cognac to me is like, I feel like I could drink it like a Pepsi when it's like really good. It doesn't taste harsh in any way, shape, or form.
Like a Pepsi? Jeez.
That's what I like.
It's
just
smooth,
that easy to drink. During the hurricane last year, when we were out of the house for a couple of days and we went to Asheville, we were at a bar one night and they had a bottle of like some sort of really, really high end cognac. And I was like, honey, just so you know, I'm getting one of these just because. Like nothing like super stupid, but it was like $40 to $50 for
it's expensive.
What's essentially just like a shot of it, more or less, which is a lot, but like in the grand scheme of things, nothing too crazy. It's the greatest thing I've ever had in terms of alcohol. I understand how like rich people drink rich people stuff.
I do too. I mean, I would probably too if I was filthy rich. Yeah. So until I win the Millie Maker or the 100K on Fantasydraft.
It put bad liquor like really into perspective for me.
This is what I've been missing out on.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to me about the top end of pitching. Buehler 11-7, Paxton 11-2, Berrios 10-8, Stroman 10-3. We've got 4 north of 10K. Only Buehler is getting any sort of ownership, and really, outside of Velasquez, Brault, and Eovaldi, there is no chalk on this slate. 17% owned Buehler is not anything that you need to get away from if you like him.
It's not actually, and I'm surprised at the amount of Buehler I'm getting. Usually big slate, I just run my crunch. I don't pay too much attention. I put it in the spreadsheet and see kind of what comes out for exposures. And I have almost double the field on Buehler right now, and I feel very good about that. By the way, we just got the Dodgers lineup. Speaking of Buehler, Buehler is batting 9th, and there are 8 normal players for the Dodgers. I wasn't sure if that was a lineup we were sweating, but that one's in. So we're just waiting on Minnesota, Houston, and the LA Angels. Yeah, I mean, I really like Buehler here. How can you not in this park? Yeah. Not the easiest price, a little bit restrictive, maybe a little overpriced. You're paying a lot for that park, but he's been awesome. He's got as much upside or more than anyone on the slate. He grades out as the best pitcher on the slate, raw points wise, by a pretty good margin. And yeah, I'm not having trouble getting very good lineups with him because of the cheap pitching.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was expecting. I was really surprised to see what Buehler's ownership looked like. I just thought that he would be way more easy to get to in bulk. Like if you see Brault and Eovaldi making up 78%, I thought Buehler was just going to climb by default. But not happening really. 17% seems a little bit more pedestrian, especially with everybody else just in single digits. I mean, all right, talk to me about this one because this is the one that I understand the least. Why is Dallas Keuchel in double digits?
Ooh, to be honest, I didn't even notice that, and I want to make sure I'm
0, right? He's just not in play.
Man, yeah, I don't understand that one at all. Sure, it's not a great Mets lineup, but where is the real upside at 9,600 here?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess So we see this all the time. It's like people just want to spend their money and they don't want to slam in 5K guys with bats and be forced to double punt at pitcher. So you see guys on pitching slates that aren't deep at the top that, like tonight, with Keuchel and Desclafani, that get a bunch of attention just because of their price, even though they don't grade out well on a raw or a value grade. They're okay at a raw points basis. So that's the only thing I'm seeing here. He's just like seems like such a low upside play. Like, how often do you get rewarded for playing a $9,600 Dallas Keuchel in this spot?
Probably not all that often.
And yeah, I mean, you need the perfect outcome. And even if you get 25 DK points, which isn't, I guess, out of the realm of possibility, but like if this was against the Marlins and he had complete game shutout upside and he was a -200 favorite, sure, 9,600 for Keuchel on a bad pitching slate at the top, yeah, I would understand. But the Mets are not a bad team. It's not a terrible lineup. I don't see it, so I'm with you there. No idea what's going on with the Keuchel ownership.
I feel like it's an accidental ownership, and there's some sort of like express slate with 3 games, and that's how we got the 10%.
Express slate, yeah, I'd be interested maybe on the express slate.
The only way that it makes sense to me. I don't get it. Any pitchers that really aren't picking up any ownership that are picking it up for you?
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Let me check on this guy's ownership again. Okay, yes. So I guess the closest guy, and I'm not going crazy with him, I'm going to be around 10%. Dakota Hudson was at under 1%. Just seems like a pretty safe spot. Talked about it with Keuchel, like if he was facing the Marlins, you're seeing like a Marlins-esque total here for this Cubs team. Castellanos just got scratched. Hudson has had success just limiting power and getting a ton of ground balls. You take out one of their better bats. This is a C- Cubs lineup at best, plus the pitcher spot. He is a -220 favorite. I like him. A lot of those lineups, I would say almost all of those lineups, he's going to be my most expensive pitcher on DK.
Okay.
And it's just going to be paired with Eovaldi, Velasquez, someone like that, Brault, that I can just slam in every bat I want.
I don't hate it. That Cubs lineup is not all that appealing. So the only problem is it's not a great strikeout lineup.
No, it's
Kemp,
not.
Zobrist, Horner, and Almora just don't strike out all that much. So Kemp in the leadoff spot's kind of tricky. But 3.5 run implied total for the Cubs will certainly help it out.
Yep, that's what you're looking at here. That's all. I mean, that's what I'm looking at as far as having some interest in Hudson.
We got to start prepping for Dong picks. We're 6 minutes away, and it's the last one. It is a sad day knowing that I can't win.
I guess I'm technically within striking distance, right? I'm 2 back. I could win in the total Dong
right now. What else do we got to talk about?
Would take a miracle for me.
Did anybody get one last night?
I certainly did not.
Nope. Clear across the board, 0. I got to update mine. I did not have Yordan Alvarez. I ended up with Michael Brantley. He got a 0 anyway. Yeah, 0s across the board. If I get my pick right, I will win in pick rate as long as EMAC doesn't get it. Although
I think you still might.
Yeah. No, I'll beat him in pick rate. I won't beat him in dong rate. He'll beat me by 0.5% if he gets one as well.
Got it.
If I would have been the leader in the clubhouse, I would have thought about sitting it out.
But if you, if you double dong, then you're locked in for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the percentages.
As long as EMAC doesn't do it too.
Yeah. So I'm hoping someone double dongs tonight or something weird happens. Like there's a triple dong, like EMAC triple dongs, and he just blows everyone out of the field or something like that. Because everything's so close right now. Like I could legitimately not be first in anything or possibly be first in like 3 categories.
Yeah.
If I get a double dong and no one else does.
Could you imagine if I was leading in pick rate and I was just like, I'm going to sit it out. I'm not going to make a pick today. It would have been the most, people would have been so aggravated.
Yeah, the audience would not have appreciated that, I don't think.
I know, and it would have been
'cause I think
so
some
on
people-
brand.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to follow through with that.
You know,
Like,
I would.
I would joke maybe for like a little while and then end up just taking someone because I would just back down when the chat got on me.
Yeah, I obviously would have dug my heels in. It would have been so much fun. I just needed one of these last couple picks. I needed to make a pick on Wednesday. Or maybe I didn't. Who knows? Josh missed out on a classic heel turn. I'm fairly certain that Josh has been a heel from the jump here. I don't think that I've been playing any babyface role ever. I think that Spags and I are in the same stable.
What is
Jake,
that?
obviously the babyface.
The baby face?
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
Do you know these terms? These are wrestling terms for like
Baby
good guy,
face?
bad guy. Yeah,
Oh, I don't
babyface
know.
is a good guy. Heel is a bad guy.
oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, these are wrestling terms to describe. You're going out and telling everybody if you're in Cincinnati and you're telling everybody that Cincinnati sucks. Cheap heat from a heel. Oh shit! Uh-oh. I almost ripped down like both of my lights and my power strip and stuff. That would have been the perfect way to go out.
That would have been a fun show, yeah.
Um,
So based on the last ownership update, I didn't have it in, but I just refreshed the top stack tool. I know we're not technically talking about bats yet,
just go for it, man. We can do
But-
whatever we want. It's the last show.
but Milwaukee now on DraftKings almost double their chances. So their ownership share is at around 10%, a little over 10%. Top stack percentage at 20.
That's nuts.
So that is a team your boy is going to have a lot of, and even more of now. Why would people get off of them?
I don't
why?
know. Let me see how. I got a bunch of them in my dummy crunch. Top exposed pitcher Walker Bueller. No surprise there.
I mean, that's a pretty good way to start your lineup. Oh, we just got ownership again. So we might have just got a top stack update as well. See if any of the numbers change. They did. Oh, okay. So now the Brewers back to where they were, but still the most underutilized team tonight, according to the top stack tool.
Okay, I'm checking it out for FanDuel as of right now. I've got it up on the screen. It's free today. Milwaukee, 18.5% top stack odds for FanDuel, 13% ownership share. No complaints there. Houston, 6.4% top stack odds on FanDuel today, 1.4% ownership.
6.4 to 1.4 on FanDuel?
Yep.
That seems wrong.
Yeah.
That almost never happens.
I know.
Where someone's 6x.
Crazy.
Wow. I mean, obviously a stack that if you are playing on FanDuel tonight, you should be contemplating heavily. And oftentimes when the top stack tool has someone that's very underutilized, it's usually because it's like your lineup doesn't project at like the top of the top. So if you're running a crunch, maybe Houston lineups don't project the best on FanDuel, but you can't argue that they don't have as much upside as any team on the slate.
Yeah.
Of course, assuming we get a normal lineup. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think for next year, one thing I'm going to experiment with, if I can still play the mini max next year and I don't have to learn an expensive lesson, I might just only stack teams that are underutilized, like for a month straight.
Only stack
Like
them?
only main stack.
Okay, so you would uncheck you would be more selective about your primary.
Yes.
I like
So I would just, like tonight, like Milwaukee, the Yankees, Baltimore, Oakland, like I would just pick like 5 to 8 stacks in there, and just stack those as my mains.
So my only recommendation in that theory would be like Tampa Bay is 6.9, ownership 7.3. I would still leave them in, but I would cut out all of the garbage at the bottom for sure.
Yeah. So maybe
Because if you're still 5th or 4th, I feel like you shouldn't be lopping that out of there just because that reads like close.
Yeah.
But like
I need to like write
Philly,
this down or
3.2, 5.1 ownership share.
or like maybe just like cut out some teams at the bottom, like that have good value metrics, but like suck, like Baltimore with when they have like a 4 implied total.
Pittsburgh today.
Ownership. Yeah. So like teams like that, like because it's probably like cognitive bias, like bias that I see those teams winning GPPs sometimes with the expensive pitchers, but like I don't think it happens enough to where it's profitable long term to play those teams over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about it like this. The New York Mets have a 1% chance of being the top stack. Let's just say that you have to be the top stack to win a contest. 1%. You're talking about them being the top team once every 3 months.
Right. It just like I feel like I do need to do some manual intervention. Like I feel like I got away from that a little bit too much this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year I would stack like on some sites like 4 or 5 teams, and that's some of my biggest nights.
Yeah.
I would get like 3 teams in the top 20 in the mini max or something like that.
And still lost $50.
No. There was a couple of nights last year where I like won it and I had like 3rd and 6th too. Like it was just, and running like 3 or 4 uniques too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, here we are.
Every sport too. Like do you do that, or does it feel like just one lineup breaks away from the field for you?
Probably more one lineup breaks away.
Yeah, I feel like when I have big nights, it's like I have like 3 or 4 live lineups, and I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing because you just go in really long droughts if that's your play style.
True. Here we go. The final dong picks of the season. EMAC with 34 dongs, 31 correct picks. Jake with 32 dongs, 28 correct picks. Josh with 29 dongs, but 27 correct picks. I could tie you if I get this right.
Whew.
More dongs for you because you've just been picking double dongs like a beast. Man, it would look so much different if you took Alvarez that day.
I know, dude. God, it just haunts me every day.
I know. Spags at 25 dongs, 23 correct picks. Randone, 12 dongs, 10 correct picks, but his pick rates are great. His percentage of dongs, not in last, not even in, he's actually beating you.
Yep. I haven't gotten one forever.
Yeah, you've been, you had the Nelly Cruz double dong, but it's 8 misses other than that Nelly Cruz double dong. And then before that, Laureano was 1 and you missed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 straight. Whew.
Dude,
way to close strong.
Yeah, dude. Trevor Ariza in Game 7 a couple of years ago. That's
Heroic effort.
Yeah, to try to lose.
Well, the floor is yours. You are still ahead of me. Feel free to go ahead and make your pick. Who is your final dong of the year? Okay, there's something broken in my sheet right now. I need a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely no. He's got to be doubled up at the bottom. That's what it is, right? Yep, he's doubled up at the bottom. I had Mike Ford in there twice, and he had the highest odds of hitting a dong in my model, and I knew that was not true. All right, I'm good. I didn't have to do any real work.
All right. How about refreshing my exposures here to see if I can. Let's see. How about you give me? Oh yeah, no Coors. That's right. I want to take a twin, but their lineup's not out, and that game is the only one with postponement risk. I don't want another Andrew Benintendi situation.
If Nelly Cruz double donged and it rained out in the 4th.
So I'm taking Nelson Cruz. Will you let me change my pick if the game goes up in the postponement risk by the time we get to lock?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. Right. You can change your pick up until that game starts.
All right. Because I might have to pivot to an Astro or something if that game looks bad.
All righty.
With the couch? I know the reference.
Yeah. Nelson Cruz in for Jake. It's the last time he got a dong. I didn't know if you were going to go to Laureano or something. I'll take Giancarlo Stanton.
Great pick.
Number 1 and number 2 in my home run model today, by the way. So going chalk.
No style points.
Here we go. Now everybody can sit here and cross their fingers and hope that Chris Randone beats Chris Spags into the chat by a half second.
Yeah, that was wild yesterday. Second time in a couple weeks he's had that happen. I think EMAC got him.
EMAC takes your boy.
Yeah.
Spags is typing.
That is so early. What's early?
I mean, it's early.
Uh-oh, Randone's typing now.
Randone's going to beat him because Spags is pissed. Uh-oh, they're both typing at the same time. I think I got a print screen of it, but I don't know.
Torres. Nice. Spags is in.
Oh, Randone, what are you doing? You were typing and you deleted it?
Meadows.
Okay.
All right, so they weren't even close to the same guy. All
right. So in the excitement there, EMAC took Eugenio Suarez, Chris Spags took Torres, and Randone took Austin Meadows.
You sure you didn't mean Torres from the Twins?
I don't know. Is that a person?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like 5'6". I think if I'm thinking of the right guy. He used to play in the Yankees.
Do I want to tell everybody the trick to figuring out or to like getting your pick in earlier? I guess the season's almost over, so I can do that. Let me get this.
What, you just watch on Periscope?
Watch it on Restream. So the Restream feed is live. So anytime that I'm not on, I've got the Restream stream open. So I'm hearing it as soon as everybody says it. There is no delay whatsoever. It's the raw feed.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay, so Spags took who? Torres?
Spags took Torres. Let's see.
EMAC took Eugenio Suarez.
EMAC's just trolling me. He's going to get a double dong with Suarez. He's just going to bury me for good.
I'll total this all up and post something in Slack or something to find out like who did the best, who hit the most. I mean, Nelson Cruz was probably the guy that has the most dongs, but I want to figure out like
most like best for us.
Yeah.
And like worst players for us.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll grab it all for tomorrow.
Cool.
So there we go. The picks are in. E-Rush, link me that Restream feed. Yeah, sorry, man. That's some behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, that's the trick to it, man.
I did not know.
Yep.
Learn something new every day, I suppose.
Top stack, right. Jake. Here we go.
Yeah, so I think if the Minnesota game stays okay, some people are making me nervous in chat saying that it doesn't look good. Right now, I'm sticking with it. But my top stack, I guess, has to be Milwaukee. I don't see any way around that. They just look so good in the top stack tool. You're just going to get Senzatello, who does not miss bats, in Coors against a team with a 7 implied total. I don't know how many times I have to repeat myself here, but the Coors team with the highest total on the slate is going under own. The Yankees are a great option. Right now, though, I'm siding with the Brewers over the Yankees if I had to just play one lineup.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I am taking out the Royals and Twins right now, so I don't have to deal with it. If we're talking my top stacks, Yankees. Actually, let me hop back to FanDuel. Brewers, Yankees, Red Sox are going to be the 3 that I get the most of, I believe.
Brewers, Yankees, Red Sox. I am getting to a bunch of Red Sox too, so I like that call.
I'm about to run a crunch right now and probably go with it. I don't know what to do with the Astros. Like, we're not going to get the Astros lineup, and I don't give a shit about the Angels. So,
dude, the Astros, what is going on here? They're just trolling us.
They're super rude. It's really just rude, honestly.
Like, if you're just going to put out a bad lineup, just put out a bad lineup. Give you guys a day off.
I don't really appreciate it. What?
Are they fighting for something?
Home field, maybe? I mean, nothing they care about.
Nothing they care about. Yeah, the home field for them, like I said yesterday, home field for them is you have Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander as your 1-2.
They're not. You don't jeopardize anything for the 0.5% you gain from being home field. Home field matters in Game 7 only. Otherwise, it's irrelevant.
Does it even matter in Game 7?
What I mean is the only way that it comes into play is if you play Game 7. Otherwise, you're playing the same amount of games in the same amount of places. It's 3 games at home, 3 games on the road in the first 6, one way or the other.
Yeah, just win, baby.
Yep. So, all right, ownership was updated 1 minute ago. I grab that now, and I'm going to run the final MLB regular season crunch.
Yeah,
There's absolutely no way I'm playing Saturday and Sunday.
I was just gonna say no Saturday for you.
I think I'm gonna pass. So we've got soccer tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Liverpool kicks off, so I will be wide awake and watching. 10 o'clock is the actual EPL slate, so I will be deep into that with projections. Projections already posted on the website. MMA locks at 11 a.m. because they're in a different country, so I'll be watching soccer from 7:30 on until 2:30, and I'll have MMA from 11 a.m. until that card ends. So I've got a wonderful Saturday, and none of it includes the second to last day of the MLB season.
Is the wife around this weekend?
The wife, oddly enough, I guess not oddly enough, the wife is here, but my father-in-law is going to be in town as of, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes from now. And they are going out on the boat tomorrow, so I get to hang out at home.
You get to hang out at home?
Yeah, I'm not a boat guy.
What?
I don't like boats.
You don't like boats?
No, not really.
You don't like... I mean, it's one thing if you don't like boats. I get that, but like you don't like what comes with being out on the boat?
No, that's the downside. I hate being like trapped in the water. I hate that you can't see into the water. So like if you're riding in the boat, you don't know if you're going to hit anything. It's just I get really paranoid about it, so I just avoid it. Yeah, I don't go. They go all the time. I don't ever go. I've been on a boat like twice, 3 times in the past couple of years, and that like I gotta get dragged to it. It just skeeves me out. I hate it so much.
Oh, I think it's fantastic, and I don't even like wakeboard or any of that.
Oh no, I mean they're going out to like fish a little bit and then just like hang out in the sun.
That's why I go on the boat at my buddies' cabins. So.
And I'm certainly not wakeboarding or anything like that. There's nothing even more terrifying than that. Josh gets to avoid the father-in-law. I don't want to avoid the father-in-law at all. I love my father-in-law. He's a great man. I just don't like boats.
That's so weird,
Which is
Josh.
a shame because he's got a really dope boat.
Stay off the weed.
That's true too. Alrighty, this is the final MLB crunch.
Josh watched Titanic and freaked.
I've never seen it.
I used to watch when I was little all the time, but like I only remember a couple lines.
I mean, obviously I'm well versed in what happened. No, never watched it.
Yeah,
not once. I don't even think I've ever seen more than like 5 minutes of it. Cantor 33 told y'all Josh was black.
Who were the donk picks tonight? I had Nelly Cruz. I have Nelly Cruz right now. I might change it up. We'll see.
Go check the Twitter account, Butthole Jenkins.
Yeah, actually, let me just post the. Oh, we don't have a tweet yet. I'm sure Brett or Pack will get on that. If they are not checked out of MLB,
it's up in the air.
Yeah,
it could go either way. I'm sure.
Certainly could. Never seen it either. Lots of people agreeing with your takes. I'm just trying to. The one thing I'm trying to do right now, like I think I have my lineups good to go.
Oh wow, it's 6:44.
Yeah. The one thing I'm having trouble with is just how much I should multiply my hitters by tonight.
0.
Like just play no one.
No. I guess that makes it 1.
1.
Yeah.
When I do 1, let's see. Am I just playing all the chalk? I think I might be. Let's see where I'm at if I just do 1. Like if I do. All right. If I do 1, my exposures are in line with ownership, essentially. Just more Brewers.
Ooh.
A lot of Twinkies.
Through 75 lineups, my top exposed hitter by a landslide. Giancarlo Stanton.
As it should be.
The home run pick.
Pretty good home run pick.
What up, Mike?
And yours doesn't have weather concerns, so I'm a little jealous of that.
Let's talk about this for a second. He used to be Mike.
Dude, you know, I just
like I knew there was a Mike Stanton back in the day, but like
there was a Mike Stanton, like a relief pitcher.
Right. But then he was Mike Stanton coming up. And then he just pulled the plug on Mike and went to Giancarlo. Because I think Giancarlo is a way sicker name than Mike Stanton. It's like,
it's way better.
Yeah.
Right after that happened, somebody made some joke. This was back when Mike and Mike was still on the air for ESPN, that they were going to change to Giancarlo and Giancarlo. I don't know what it is, but like I see that tweet in my time hop once every year, and it still gets me. I was such a big Mike and Mike guy forever.
Ooh, I passed on Mike and Mike.
I would listen to all 4 hours every day, like for half of the year.
Jeez.
I would go in. So I had a desk job while I was in college for a while, and then I would work there during the summers. But I would go in at 6:00 in the morning, which was when that show started. So it was just when like streaming was starting on ESPN. So I was listening to that and like the first Bill Simmons podcast. So there wasn't like a lot to pass the time. So you would listen to that for 4 hours, and then Stephen A. Smith would come on later in the afternoon, Colin Cowherd, just nonstop sports radio. Man, it was awful.
I do that. I mean, still to this day, I've been listening to the Levitard show every single day for I think like 5 or 6 years.
He's like, I've never listened to Levitard. Not that I have a problem. It's just he came after or anything. Like,
yeah.
After I stopped
he
watching,
was like a little bit later. Like he's always had the highly questionable, but like it's one of those shows that Adam knows. You either love it or you hate it. Adam got tweeted at. He said something about highly questionable or something, and all the Levitard fans came after him.
Oh yeah, like I've never really seen it, but it's not because I don't like it. It's just I've just never seen it. Liam Flothers, does DK FanDuel have tournaments that are like 10 and 20 max? I can't afford full fantasy cruncher, but I'm not putting 20 lineups in against the 150 juggernauts. Yes, they do.
FC Light, right?
Well, no. Do FanDuel and DraftKings have non-150 max? And the answer is yeah. They've got a ton of 20 max options. The Beanball and FanDuel is like the general lower stakes contest. That's perfect. DK's got the quarter jukebox. They run $1.20 max. They've got a couple others. The $4 is I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, plenty of options.
Yeah.
Or you can 150 max the low stakes stuff. There's a nickel 150 max on FanDuel and a quarter. You guys listen to awful radio, dude.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. This would have been like 2007. It's not the same, man. There were no podcasts then.
Yeah, it was just live streaming, right?
It was radio.
Yeah.
Or Sirius if you were lucky, or XM before the merger. I didn't have a choice. It was either that or just listen to, I don't know, music. What music did I had an iPad or an iPod then. This is way back. I don't listen to that shit anymore. You should. You know what you should listen to, everybody? You should go to iTunes and subscribe to the Awesemo podcast feed. We put everything up there. 3 new pieces on there today. MLB strategy show from this morning, NFL strategy show from this morning, and the Awesemo odds betting show.
There you go.
And Adam Pfeiffer's matchups column. Whole thing. He read it out last night and recorded it for week 4, so it's up on there.
He read that for you lazy people that don't want to read.
It's an hour. That's how long. That's how much he writes. It's pages and pages.
It's like 4 pages where you're just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So puts a lot of work into it. So you guys should give it a listen.
I didn't know that it was pages, and I was like, "Oh, this is like where are the rest of the games?" Oh my god, it keeps going.
Oh yeah. It is quite the big boy to tackle.
Yeah.
I do not envy him writing that every week,
no.
But I guess he likes doing it. So, man.
Brandon Brown got in some of the satellites with you, Josh. Good luck. I'm sorry you're not going to get those tickets, Brandon. You're better off just paying the $4 and getting into that contest on the 22nd, man. Taking your change.
Here we go. If we want to shill a little bit more, what is included in your guys' $3.95 weekly package?
You can go to awesemo.com/join and it'll give all the details, because I'm going to be honest with you, that's the easiest way to do this.
Yeah, I always forget stuff when I'm hosting or like carrying the show, and like I feel bad when I forget to mention someone or something that we have. You just go to this link. Let me post it.
Yeah.
And then you just get prompts, and it walks you through what kind of membership would be best for you.
Yeah. It's not going to do us any service to try to explain it like this. The new landing page for our join for new members is fantastic in describing everything that we have. It's all laid out there for every individual sport or for all sports. And I wouldn't want to leave anything out. So you can go to the things that the sport or sports that you're looking for most for yourself and get it all laid out for you.
Yep.
But it's all here, osmo.com/join. Plus, Jake dropped the link in.
I did.
Ooh, I'm up to 500 lineups now. 651. Oh, we just got a lineup, didn't we?
Twins. Oh, God.
That's
what
fine.
did they do?
That's fine.
So no leading off? What is this?
Who?
So no.
What?
Jesus, man. I got to recrunch. This is so annoying. On the last day, they got to do this to us.
Why do you got to recrunch? How many guys are out?
Well, it's just everyone's projections are going to be bumped. Cave in the
played
two-hole.
65% Josh Reddick last night because he moved from 1st to 6th. Don't sweat it, dude.
Cave in the 2-hole? I mean, what are we doing?
Go for it, man. Just go.
Is that Twinkie's lineup? Let's see. Is that the correct lineup in there that we have in Alex's projections? Because if so, he updated them 2 minutes ago, and that was quick.
Can't be, can it?
When I'm carrying the show. Yeah, what I mean by that, Makad, is like Josh is the one that carries the show all the time. Like
What?
He's the one who like you carry the show. Like we're both hosts, but like you keep the show moving along, and
I'm
you
the
open it up.
conductor.
Whatever. You carry the show.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree. I carry everything that I do here. But I think that we are pretty equal on this one.
No, that's not what I was saying. I mean, like when I'm on with Adam, I carry the show. I'm like, I introduce the game and then toss to him. That's what I mean when I'm carrying the show.
Yeah. But anything that I do, I am carrying the show. We all know this. That's why the spotlights are on me right here. Spotlight is on me. Jake's in a prison cell.
Yeah, free Jake for the last time. Well, for the last time until Wednesday, I suppose. You'll see me on Wednesday. Hit the ice. Myself and Nolan Kelly, 4 Eastern.
Is that what time you guys are doing it? I didn't know if you were going to do like an NHL strategy show in the morning or something.
No, it wouldn't even be worth it.
Sure it would.
No, it wouldn't. I promise you.
I love that you're just like, yo, dude, shut up. I'm not doing that show.
No, it just because
I know.
we would
I know.
midway through the show, and it would be like, all right, well, this guy's out. This team's entire lineup changed. And then, yeah, it would be bad. I mean, it happens in NBA too, but at least you have an idea of who's playing on the night.
You should still be embarrassed. Oh, sorry. We're circling back to radio talk. Yeah, and we're having a relatively interactive conversation with people in chat right now, and nothing's happening in Slack. That's where baseball's at right now. Slack is a ghost town.
Everyone's probably playing college football tonight or something.
Slack is a ghost town, and yet it's going to explode in 2 weeks, or just Sunday.
Owen Nolan Kelly? What is that?
Owen Nolan, the hockey player?
Owen Nolan?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Really?
Anything before like 2012, I'm probably not familiar with.
We share a birthday.
Wow. Maybe I should send you guys both cakes.
The more you know. I mean, it'd be nice if you sent me a cake just ever, you know?
You're right. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I should.
But Slack, man. It's just too busy sipping White Claws.
Can you hear the children downstairs?
I just leaned into my microphone and put my ear there. God, I'm stupid. That's not how that works at all.
They're singing or something.
Wait,
there's a bunch of kids downstairs now.
Why are there children? What are you doing, man?
So
do I need to call cops?
Yeah, babysitting my niece, but also my girlfriend's niece and nephew live right down the street. Her brother lives right down the street of me.
Okay.
So they're over here too. So I just hear like 3 kids interacting, all under the age of 3, or just one just turned 3, and then the other 2 are 1.5.
Yikes. That
Yeah,
sounds like my personal hell.
Gonna be fun.
I'm not sure I've ever had 3 children in this house at the same time. I'm up to 660 lineups.
Do I need to recrunch? Was anybody out of the Twins lineup?
I didn't even load it. I pulled the Twins game out, so I don't have to care about it.
God, you're a smart man.
That much. I know. That's why I carry the show.
It's true.
Stanton, number 1, most exposed pitcher, Walker Buehler. Any guesses as to who my second most exposed hitter is?
Hitter or pitcher?
Hitter.
Cruz.
No.
Torres.
In case you forgot, dude, I pulled the Twins game.
Torres.
Torres? No.
Leiber?
No.
Suarez?
No. Trent Grisham.
Oh, okay.
We're going to land on that one.
It's a very good option.
All right. 4 more lineups, and then I'm calling it at 700. Garver out per Brooks Morton.
God.
I mean, that's the easiest swap you can get.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave. Who's in Astudillo batting 5th? I mean, that's just going to mess up all the projections enough where.
Look, at least it's not the other way around on DraftKings. If it's going to be anybody, you're happy it's Garver because you can put anybody in. Maybe not anybody, but like naked. You don't have to worry about it.
I'll just run some 5 nakeds.
Are people? Oh yeah, Cantor 33 guessed Grisham. It doesn't count when YouTube guesses it, man. All this stuff is on my screen. Jake's not looking at it.
I can't even see Josh's screen besides on delay, like 20 seconds behind.
Polly, Takedown City. NBA is going to be lit. Why, you coming back to steal our stuff and sell it for your own?
Whoa there.
Ooh. Am I spitting fire? Sorry.
It appears you are.
Oh, well. What are you going to do?
Makad, there's someone watching her downstairs. The rest of
no, it's just two 3-year-olds watching a 1-year-old.
Fine.
They'll be all right. Put him in a cage.
3-year-old, she's got to grow up anyways.
Put him in a cage. They'll be all right. Screen is too small to help. You guys can't see the Fantasy Cruncher screen?
Come on, man.
If that's true, someone should have told me that a while ago. I could have just made it bigger. It's not. All I need to do is be told that. I can't see it.
Ooh. People are worried about the Twinkies game.
Me, man.
I am worried. I'm officially worried.
You said that like it was a question. I am worried.
Yeah, well, trying to gather my thoughts on stream here.
I get it.
Let's see. I'm keeping it.
Fine. I'm about to click refresh on my crunch.
All right.
700 lineups in FanDuel. Here we go. If you're on mobile, you can't see it. We told you during NBA season. You think I remember something from 6 months ago?
Just watch on your desktop or laptop.
Also, I mean, I can't help you if you're watching mobily. That's just not,
and that's got to be annoying to watch us mobily on YouTube as well. Not that you shouldn't do it.
Well, let me
definitely
see
watch us.
But I've got a dope phone. See if that's how much time do I have? All right, I have 6
minutes. Twins game good until about the 7th. I'm more where you're at, John. I think it's going to hold off. I'm playing it. Like I said, I'm playing it. Unless there's a projections update right now that comes out that says there's a 50% chance. That's, I'm not changing anything. RB Tony Romo, what did he do? Did he play bad today? I thought he might make the cut. I hear myself in the background and you watching us.
Oh, you can see those. I mean, you got to look pretty hard, but yeah, I could bump that up in the future.
Yeah, maybe. We just got ownership. Let's see.
I guess that's relevant to me right now.
All right, let me pop this in, see if anything changed. Eovaldi. Astudillo getting 35% on DraftKings. Wow.
Okay, so I've got 5 minutes to do this, so let's go over what I'm about to get since I have it here in front of me. That can't be right. Why would that not have updated? All right, that's just
Twins
gonna have
all
to
good.
work.
Play. Can't tell if Chester's trying to mess with us.
So top stacks: Brewers, Yankees, Rockies, Red Sox. That should come as very little surprise. Let's go ahead and bump up Oakland. Perfect. I'm going to walk back the Red Sox a little bit. Ooh, more than a little bit. Perfect. Top stacks are Brewers and Yankees. I'm more than okay with that. Getting a lot of Padres, Diamondbacks, and Reds. No, thank you. Well, actually, you know what? D-backs, I will maintain a little bit of that. Shout out to Dan Strafford from the Early Bird Pod. To 90%. He mentioned the Diamondbacks last night while we were recording.
Oh, okay.
No Dodgers, but they pinch hit enough that I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really have Dodgers either. Ooh, I'm getting some Oakland. I don't mind that, actually. Chris Davis back.
I have 9% right now. We're projecting them for 2.6 on FanDuel.
Ooh, yeah, I like them quite a bit.
All right, I'm going to have to call it on my exposures now. Actually, let's just walk back the Padres just a little bit. That seems unnecessary.
I'm getting so much. Wow.
Any guesses as to who my most exposed pitcher is before I put this to bed?
Most exposed pitcher is on FanDuel. Bueller, right?
Yes, 31%. We have him at 14. I could not feel better about that.
I'd feel pretty good about that as well. All right. I just got a bunch of cheap guys at the top. We didn't really talk about Brault that much. I'm not sure that it matters.
I like him. I like him more than Velasquez, honestly.
It goes Eovaldi. I mean, it's really close between the three when you factor in all their ownerships, but it goes Eovaldi, Brault, then VV. So
VV. All right. How many satellites do I enter? 80,
all the satellites.
84.
All right. Do I need to get in any more contests too? Now you're making me think. I should at least check on Draftkings and see if there's overlay.
106. Got it.
No overlay.
Paste.
All right, we're good.
Close. Save. Upload with 2 minutes to spare. I feel like I haven't stressed in a while.
Remember that stretch we had where it was like
every day,
3 weeks straight, every time we were on the show.
Oh, come on.
Chester, you got it. I'll if I commit to basketball, I don't think you want me committing to basketball. I'll play some, but
it's like me committing to hockey. It's just not better.
Oh God, it's so much better. Is this the last MLB stream, or is there a strategy show tomorrow? There is a strategy show tomorrow.
Yep. That will get closed out with EMAC and Adam.
That will be the Mac and Adam ship my money share. Yeah. So you'll be in good hands tomorrow. Last one for Josh and I. Spag's last show is Alex's last MLB show. So
here we go. 19.6% Brewers, 17% Yanks, 9% Rockies, 14% Red Sox, 9% A's. Those are my 4 most exposed hitting stacks. They make up 70% of my exposure. 30% Walker Buehler, 8% Paxton, 10% Stroman, 11% Velasquez, 16% Eovaldi. Little bits of everybody else.
I got hella Brewers. Twins actually went up for me, which I like with that new lineup. Hopefully people didn't get to react in time. Oakland, Boston, the Yankees I got more of than I anticipated. Your boy Stanton actually up there for me as one of my top exposed players.
Ooh, yeah. Who did I get as my top exposed hitter?
Mine is Grandal, for what it's worth.
Mine is Giancarlo Stanton. Any guesses as to how much my percentage is for Stanton?
On FanDuel, 31.
You are low.
37.
Still low.
42?
Still low.
48.
Gets it.
That's
Stanton,
a lot.
48. Trent Grisham 36. Look, if I'm gonna have a one-off constantly, which is what 48 represents, Giancarlo Stanton makes for a decent option. He's chalk, but I don't really mind. He's gonna show up a lot in Rocky stacks and A's stacks for me, which are spots that aren't getting a lot of ownership. Trent Grisham 2, Trevor Story 3, Rafael Devers 4, Ryan Braun 5.
Yeah. Liam in the YouTube chat, they're going to be any NHL shows. There will be. It will be yours truly and Nolan and Slim Cliffy, Michael Clifford from back in the Fanvice days. He's a guy who is actually, I just love his analysis. So we got him to do some stuff for us. And he will be, is there someone knocking on my door?
That I heard.
Yeah. It's a child, I think.
And your girlfriend sounds young.
Yeah. Trying to get me in trouble on screen. She's not even that young. No. Cliffy is a really awesome hockey mind, loves DFS, and you'll be seeing him from time to time on the streams. So it's actually, we're really pumped for the NHL season. And then NBA is right behind.
And we are done. Jake, I finished my wine. I'd cheers you if I could.
Here's my White Claw.
I clinked it off of where you had the White Claw on the screen. I clinked it off my monitor. That is it, guys. Live Before Lock regular season edition is just done. We have put the MLB regular season to bed. This is the time where Jake and I go our separate ways for 6 months and then see each other again in March. It's been a good baseball season. I can't complain. No issues. I started off really strong. I closed not strong at all, but a profitable season nonetheless. If I wouldn't have wasted so much money trying to qualify for a live final, I would have a lot more money in my account. But what are you going to do? I'll take it. I'm happy with the baseball season. I'm excited for baseball next year. I'm not going to lie. 2020, going to be huge. But we are done. Jake is on his way to NHL. I'm on my way to the NBA. And it feels really nice to put this baby to bed.
That it does.
Now Jake's about to go put 5 babies to bed.
Yeah. I don't know. Not quite bedtime. It's only 6:08 here.
That's true.
Maybe time for food or something. I don't know. Maybe put Frozen on. What are the kids like these days?
Moana.
Yeah. Actually, my niece loves that. So that'll definitely be put on there.
I saw some with like some farm animals and stuff a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of shows.
What is that called?
I don't know what they're called.
I don't know. I already. Oh god. Now I just need to know before we go. Farm animals, Pixar. I picture the name. I think it's a Pixar movie.
Animal Alphabet?
No.
All right.
I feel like it's like a horse with a French name. No, maybe it's not a Pixar movie?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I give up. I don't care anymore. That's it. We are done. Jake, anything else?
Thanks for watching, guys. Looking forward to a fun few months stretch here. So good luck in NFL. Obviously, MLB, if you're playing the playoffs, we'll still have slack and all that. If you're playing NHL, if you're playing NBA, whatever you play, MMA, soccer, we got it covered.
We are done, everybody. Live Before Lock is the promo code if you want to sign up. Special thanks to Fantasydraft for being the presenting sponsor of Live Before Lock. Use the promo code OSMO when signing up. Go to fantasydraft.com. You can get $1,000 in rake-free entries over your first 7 days. You cannot beat that deal. Come play in their Hooters contest for Week 4 in the NFL and join us as we try to make some money playing some foosball. Adios, everybody. It's been fun.